All right, guys, we've been asked to come up with some ideas for theme nights on our broadcast, and one of the ideas was behind the lens, sort of a backstage pass for our fans to kind of see what we do during a broadcast, sort of behind the scenes. What do you think about that?
I like it. As far as ideas go, that's definitely one, but I think it's a good one.
Yeah, and I agree. I think fans love the idea. Anytime you can go behind the scenes, whether it's in the clubhouse, I think in the truck, all those things, it's going to be fantastic. Good idea.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. This is going to be a fun night for all our fans.
Hey, what are you guys doing in my office? Get out of here.
Sorry, Skip.
Get that camera out of here, too. You too, cameraman.
Double box, stand by Danny for your move. Ready to dissolve 19 with logo fly. 3, 2, and dissolve 19, logo fly.
Rangers baseball brought to you by Shiner Light Blonde. It's life done right. A special evening tonight here in Arlington, behind the lens, as we're going to welcome you backstage, and you're going to get a real clean look at all the wackiness that is Rangers baseball on TV. Oh, thank goodness you made it. Really appreciate you coming. Come on in. This is the booth. We'll give you a quick look around at everything and try to introduce you to everybody here as well. You saw our cameraman Pranav when you walked in, our stage manager Ali, Bouvet, one of the greats at High Home over there on camera, Malcolm, our A2, best stats man in the world, Steve Hunt, and of course, you know my baseball spouse, and that is CJ Nitkowski.
You guys are going to love this. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you always hear, what's a director? What does the director do? Dave Burchett is our director. He takes direction from me. Dave Burchett, we need that booth camera on right now, please.
That's sort of how it works. This is what you see every night as we welcome you in here this evening. What better way to get things started today than a little behind-the-scenes look at a day in the life of a Texas Ranger.
Hi, I'm Tony Beasley, third base coach for the Texas Rangers, and welcome to Behind the Lens, a day in the life of a Major League ball player. All right, this is the entrance to the clubhouse. The parking lot is right behind you here where the players will pull up and underneath in the parking garage. Generally, guys get here at various times. Shin-Soo Choo is usually the first player that arrives every day. He's usually here from anywhere between 11:30 and 12. He just gets here early. Then, you know, players just kind of trickle in at their own rate. But we just head in here and we kind of get our day started. And here's our home away from home. Welcome to our clubhouse. We have the ping pong table here where guys have some serious matches between Elvis and Odor and Beltray and all the guys. They kind of have their little rivalries on the ping pong table. Here, you know, Odor sits there. He's the champion right now. He's got the WWF belt. And usually you'll know when Elvis comes because the music starts blasting. We try to make this a family environment and get the guys to relax and just have some fun and relax themselves before the game. Okay, as you can see, this is our weight room. You know, guys come in here at various times. Eric is here. He's one of our trainers, one of our strength guys. He's probably waiting for some guys to start showing up now. But all of our guys really are pretty consistent with their workouts. They come at different times. Odor's, he loves to work out and brag about, you know, how strong he is for a little guy. But, you know, he challenges me a lot. But he don't really want none of that. This is our video room. You know, here we have a lot of screens and a lot of new technology here that back in the day we didn't have. So this is the type of room that we get a lot of information in with all the advanced metrics and things in the day's game, the stats and things of that nature. We can get an edge with a video room that has the capabilities to give us a lot of angles to look at things. Now we're going to give you the view of the walkthrough from the clubhouse to the dugout. Let's go. I'm Tony Beasley. I hope you enjoyed the Behind the Lens access. Let's give it back to Dave and CJ.
We appreciate that, Tony Beasley. That clubhouse is so nice. You know, I played here in 2002 and 2003, and that clubhouse didn't look like that. It was nice, but the improvements that they have made over the years were incredible. The other thing, Tony Beasley told me after he shot that he was so confident in the job that he did, he said he was going to take my job and told me I better learn how to coach third base.
Ooh, well, pretty strong words. Now, when we come back, we're going to give you a little different spotlight, a closer look at our broadcast position. Stay with us. Spotlight coming up in just a moment.
21, stand by to wide. And roll wide, player to wide track.
Rangers baseball is sponsored by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford is the best in Texas. By Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Look here, CJ, show them around a little
So
bit.
the more screens, the better. The more information, the better for me. I'm actually a double iPad guy. I got my MLB at Bat app open the entire time I score digitally. Thanks to you. You showed me that. The Inside Edge information over here. We have programs. So what you see on television is what I see here. Then we have the Telestrator. It's more of a football tool, but we can use it once in a while. We can draw some fun lines and do some fun things, and there they go, and that kind of stuff. And every once in a while we use the Telestrator, but lots of information, all of our prep work, our stats, but most important, we get to watch the game from a great view.
Best view in the house. And so we're ready to go. And Giovanni Gallardo gets us started with a fastball to John Jay, and that is strike one. Well, Rangers won the opener yesterday, trying to sweep what will be just a quick two-game series. 90 degrees here at game time. And he's ahead. No balls, 2 strikes on Jay, who did not play in yesterday's game. Jay leading it off in center field. Acquired from the Royals. But that was back in early June, and he grounds out to short, 1 away. Well, let's take a look at our Southwest Airlines camera crew lineup for tonight's telecast. And as you can see, a lot of cameras on camera 1, Dave Curlis, Bruce Harmon, we call him Bouvet, Jeff Qualis, James Nobles, Larry Allen, Greg Schmidt, Vic Sosa, Dwayne Collins, Robert Forer, Ryan Butts, Clint Harris, Pranav Bhatt, who was up here with the booth a moment ago, Danny Kelly, Michael Rodriguez, our utility. And these guys, it's worth noting, like on average, years of experience with our camera crew, and it's just one of the luxuries of working in this market. But on average, we're right about 25 years working Rangers games. And we're talking about guys who have not just been operating cameras at sporting events, but doing it here. There's Dave Curlis.
And they have seen it all. I wonder sometimes that they laugh at us, right? We're covering the game.
Sure
They're like, oh, these guys don't even know what they're talking about.
Larry, hard hat.
He wears that all the time. That's not for foul balls. That's just what he likes to wear.
This ball hammered out to left field, and Paul Goldschmidt, who's had an on-base streak going, has homered. And he gives the Diamondbacks the 1-0 lead.
Take a look at the pitch here from Giovanni Gallardo to Paul Goldschmidt. We know how locked in Goldschmidt has been. Now you're going to see an off-speed pitch. Look at the nice look right there. Looked like that could have been somewhat of a cutter/slider grip from Gallardo. And he wanted to get it down. He certainly did not want to throw it that high in the zone. And Paul Goldschmidt got a hold of it and absolutely drilled that ball to left field.
So the Diamondbacks, as they did yesterday, jump out quickly. And now it's David Peralta, the left fielder and third place hitter. 21 home runs on his ledger this year, and he takes high 2-0.
Kind of getting back to what you were talking about, that we really are fortunate in our market, the amount of cameras that we have, the experience, the shots that we get. It's very easy to kind of take that stuff for granted. I love what we get in center field. We just showed you that pitch grip and the talent level of these guys, the experience they have to help bring those things to life. You know, you're just watching at home, and even for me, for years, just watching games, never realized actually the time that is put in. But here with the Rangers, we are very lucky with the amount of angles and cameras that we have for our broadcast.
Well, Peralta ahead here, 3-1. Good hitters count. Gallardo runs that one a little bit tight, so he puts Peralta on following the home run.
Let's take a look at our Shiner light blonde pitch arsenal for Gallardo. Four-seam fastball 30% of the time. The two-seamer 24% of the time. It's slider, curveball, and changeup. And you heard me say slider, cutter. The reason I say that about Gallardo, it's because he's got really high velocity on that slider, and you saw the action on that pitch. His fastball's been sitting around 92, both the four-seamer and the two-seamer. The slider's been averaging around 89, so there's not a lot of differential. It gives you a little bit more of that cutter feel than a slider feel.
Eduardo Escobar. And he goes right after strike one. Switch hitter batting left-handed. Never had a hit off Giovanni. Escobar previously with the Minnesota Twins this year, a deadline acquisition. And there's Gallardo, the 32-year-old right-hander. Grew up right nearby here in Fort Worth. The count 0-2.
Gallardo's been on a really nice run as of late. Yes, he has gotten a lot of run support, but over his last 4 starts, he's 4-0 with a 2.78 ERA. The numbers have been really good. Early on, he was giving up some runs, but the Rangers were scoring a lot of runs. But over these last 4, the ERA has been fantastic, sub 3.
They want it down, and the pitch misses just a little bit in. 1-2. Kiner Falefa doing the catching today, and he's continuing to get a lot of opportunities back behind the plate, and continuing to impress in that role. That one off the handle. Stays 1-2.
Kiner Falefa has been really good. I think for the rest of this season, as we watch him catch, the Rangers will continue to evaluate. He's a kind of a tricky guy as far as what would be the best way to use him over the course of a full season. He looks very comfortable behind the plate. He plays a fantastic third base. We saw that from him. He does a good job of putting the ball in play when he's hitting. Doesn't get beat by high velocity. Doesn't swing and miss a ton. This is kind of an evaluation period right now for Jeff Bannister, John Daniels, the front office, the coaching staff. They get together and they'll come up with a game plan and say, how do we get the most out of this guy? How much do we want to catch him? How much do we want him out in the field? Pretty fascinating player in that regard.
Slow roller, second base. Odor, quick flip for one. The relay in time. Double play, and the inning is done. Diamondbacks get on the board first. Rangers coming to bat. Bears, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. Welcome back. A 1-0 ball game, and if you're like me, you can't learn enough about what is going on around the game, and I want to know what the bullpen guys are talking about, what they do in these early innings. We sent Emily Jones to investigate. Emily, what do you have?
Seriously, this is by far the coolest thing I have ever done. Sitting out here in the bullpen with the relievers, I walked out with them. The one thing they told me if I was going to be out here, I had to wear the hat. So I'm wearing the hat, and I'm going to talk to Eddie Butler about just what goes on out here. So we roll out, you guys just hang out. When do people actually start moving out here?
You know, we got to watch the starter. If he starts getting into trouble, the pitch count starts getting a little elevated for the inning, then we may start moving. Other than that, if they're cruising, the 5th, 6th, guys start moving, stretching out, getting a Red Bull, whatever they need to do to get themselves prepared.
Okay, I want to know what you talk about the Red Bull. Y'all got supplies out here, refreshments. What is in the bullpen backpack?
Snacks, number 1. Painkillers, number 2. Gloves for the red hot and whatever else you need to get yourself ready, get your body warmed up. Nail clippers, file, all kinds of stuff. Basically manicuring and making sure you're ready.
Manicuring, always very important. Okay, funny guy out here. There's got to be somebody to keep you guys entertained when things are super chill out here in the early goings of a game.
You know, before it was Kella, but I'm trying to figure out. I try to keep it light. You know, bark at some people, whatever you can. Some of the guys talk to fans, you know, chirp at them a little bit. They chirp at you, you chirp back a little bit. So it's fun. A bunch of guys do it. Nobody's really the set guy yet.
Okay, CJ, I heard you laughing. I know you probably.
I love it.
Yeah.
The fan interaction is so fantastic. But here, look, this I think is really important for fans. I'd love Eddie to answer this. Fan protocol. Listen, when you're a reliever, you get asked for, I don't know, somewhere between 1 and 2 million baseballs a year. It's nonstop. What would he like to tell fans about asking for a baseball?
Okay, what do you want to tell fans? How many times do you get asked for a baseball? What do you want to tell people at home, just for future reference?
We get asked probably a couple hundred times a game, and it's just that, we can't give out all the baseballs. Usually we'll try to give out the ones that get scuffed when guys start throwing. It happens pretty frequently. Guys are trying to get their slider, their curveball ready. They end up bouncing the ball a few times. So we do give them out, but it's usually a little bit later in the game, even though everybody wants it now.
I got you, CJ.
Yeah, so the idea of maybe not asking, not a bad idea as a fan. We get it. You'd love to have a baseball. Everyone would. But give those guys a break. They're down there trying to do their job. I got a couple. I mean, listen, I love the time in the bullpen, the conversations. It's a good time of the game for that to kind of be happening right now. I'm curious about how guys feel if they can kind of relay and explain. When the phone rings, it's instant heartbeat. It goes up right away. Maybe Eddie could take us through that when the phone rings.
Yeah, take me through. When that phone, you're all chill. Everybody's feet up, kicked back. But when that phone rings, what happens?
The whole bullpen, everybody starts turning and looking to see who we're going to be getting up. Hector's not the loudest guy in the world, so we usually have to relay who's got to get up and get ready. But yeah, I mean, it goes from everybody's kind of having fun, loose, to locked in as soon as that phone rings and it's time to go.
Okay, we talked about the chirping of the fans. How often do you hear something that makes you guys chuckle?
It happens a time or two in a series. There's some guys that do it frequently enough that they get under your skin, or they got some funny stuff to say. But most of the time they're talking crap, and it is what it is.
Thanks so much for letting me bust up the bullpen crew today, guys. I'll tell you a funny story about how I made a major faux pas when I got out here with this hat for a little bit later in the show. We'll send it back to you.
I love it. I love it.
Let me tell you something. First of all, we need to thank every one of those guys for allowing that to happen. John Blake, the entire crew. It's game time right now. As much as we have great access to the players, during the game is supposed to be their time, and the fact that they were willing to allow us to do that for a little while here in the bottom of the first inning, we can't thank them enough. That is great insight. I know Emily probably doesn't want to leave. That view there is incredible. It's a great place to watch a game. You got to kind of earn it to get there and become a big leaguer, but it is awesome. And for the guys to allow us to do that is just greatly appreciated in the middle of the game. I know that takes them out of their comfort zone, and that was awesome. I know we could have done that for a long time. Of course, they would not be interested in doing that for a long time, so that's very cool.
How long will it take Emily to get out of there?
Well, say your goodbyes. I have that little bit of an issue. How do you? Well, I was gonna say, just in general though, it's like getting out of the house. I don't know how things are at the Raymond home, but I will tell you at the Nikowski house, it seems like we have a hard time kind of getting going when we're supposed to get out of the house and move on.
I would skulk around in the back for a few seconds, see if nobody notices, and then maybe just pull up my own chair back there. Well, 2 is on via the hit, and the 0-2 pitch. Elvis fouls it away. And Elvis, by the way, talk about access today. Elvis allowed us to mic him up earlier this afternoon, and during batting practice and whatnot, we were able to get a little audio from Mr. Andrews, and you can imagine he was having a good time, upbeat. So we'll bring you some of that a little bit later on today. A unique night with the guys very cool about letting us get a peek in. Corbin to the plate, and he strikes out Andrews for the second out of the inning. Let's take a look at the rest of our Southwest Airlines starting crew lineup for tonight's telecast. You go down to our replay room. Kelly Donaldson, he's on the EBS, and he is one of the best in the business. Works the World Series year after year. Eric Daly, Michael Branton replay, Michael McTighe as well. Leo Hockmeyer on our score bug, Eric Josephson on graphics, along with Carla Janeway. And a lot of these folks, by the way, travel with us as well. John Neptune and Matt Lester in video. It's a huge crew, as you can get. Profar takes in the dirt and give you a little more look. Part of our favorites, the audio guys, Toast and Malcolm. They take care of us, make sure that we sound okay on the air. Kevin Lewis, our technical director. Alan McDaniel, also in audio. Ali, our stage manager. Evan Mills handles StatCast for us. Steve Hunt up here in the booth with us. And Joe Cronin, he's the engineer. He's the chief engineer. He's the guy who basically had the headache of trying to make all of this work tonight. Backdoor breaking ball to Profar, and it's 2-0.
Tremendous crew that we have here. All those roles are so important. It's one of those things, you know, as a former player, the first time you kind of started getting involved in this, you had no idea how complex it really is, how many people are involved, how many talented people are needed to make it happen. We have a tremendous crew here. It's a great place to be, man. This is a desirable market to work in because of all the, again, as I mentioned earlier, just everything that we have access to in regards to cameras, but then also the people that they put together on this staff at Fox Sports Southwest. It is tremendous. Nick's coming to work. I guess we call this work. Pretty easy every day.
Yeah. Profar has worked himself into an advantageous spot here, 3-0. A man on with 2 out. Patrick Corbin doesn't give you a whole lot of opportunity over the course of an evening.
Wow.
Oh, and he gets himself a strike call there.
This pitch would never be called with 2 strikes for strike 3. Watch this ball, 4-seam fastball up and in. I mean, not even an attempt at that point by Alex Avila to frame that up. Like, he put no effort into trying to make it look like a strike. I think both of those guys, pitcher, excuse me, well, actually all 3 of them, pitcher, catcher, and batter, pretty shocked that that was called a strike.
Well, any more surprising than that one?
Profar is right now feeling like the bat is getting taken out of his hands. He did a great job of working himself through a 3-0 count. There's ball 5. He hasn't swung yet. It's a full count. They're going back and forth right now. It's Jerry Davis behind the plate this evening. Same Jerry Davis that booted Adrian Beltre out of the game when he moved the on-deck circle.
There's a little history in this ballpark. 3-2. And this one sprung right over first, caught out of the air, and taken to the bag for a double play. So Daniel Descalso with a heads-up play. No need for double play. That'll do it. We go to the second. 1-0 Diamondbacks. Pretty cool. The Rangers also today giving us a little extra access on the field today. Our WinStar leaderboard. You look at all the technical specs for a Rangers show here on Fox Sports Southwest. 4 super slow-mo cameras, 5 other HD cameras, 3 HD robo cameras, an RF camera, which you saw on the field.
Yeah, if you want to be an RF camera operator, highly recommended to work out a little bit.
We have the 20 replay, 20 replay channels, 12 announcer microphones, 15 effects mics on all around the field. Give you those sound effects from anything from a ball hitting the wall to a player grunting maybe near a play. And all total, it's a little over 63,000 feet of cable around the ballpark to tie it all together. One and 2. We count on Steven Souza Jr.
Yeah, we're fortunate the access that we have also with the RF camera. You know, part of when you're putting a production on, you're putting a game on, is the cooperation from the team.
Line drive up the middle, and Souza aboard to start this second inning.
I mean, obviously access to the bullpen during the game is something we needed special permission for. That was granted. That's very cool. There are a lot of teams that would not allow that to happen. And then even the access, the RF camera that's on the field. When there's home runs, end of innings, those kinds of things. The access we get there, the Rangers are a really cooperative partner.
Well, a man on here to start the second inning. Gallardo allowed a run in the first inning on the home run by Paul Goldschmidt. And Ketel Marte, the switch hitting second baseman, takes one upstairs. Marte 0 for 4 yesterday, but decent representation against Gallardo in his career. 3 for 6 against him.
We've talked a lot about the Diamondbacks uniforms. They got the teal out today with the teal accents. Indigenous color to Arizona. You a fan of the teal?
That's a kind of a small dose
effort
right there. Yeah, like that's okay.
John Jay's shoes were fantastic. Get a look at those later when he comes around. He had quite a bit of teal. That's the other thing as a player. It used to be, you might have a road and a home pair based on colors for your shoes to match. If you're an Arizona Diamondback, you could have the Imelda Marcos shoe collection.
One on Marte. Yeah, generally speaking, the what did you call the gray yesterday? Steel
gunmetal.
Gunmetal gray. Yeah,
I might have made that up, but I thought
I kind of liked it. I liked it. I'm
not around that.
Not loving it. This one out to the gap, right center field, and well struck by Marte. Souza around second to third, and they will throw up the stop sign there. It's a double for Ketel Marte. Ball back quickly enough that at least for the moment nobody scores.
Well, take a look at the pitch here to Ketel Marte. The switch hitter actually struggles more against right-handers. Just 217 this year, but a good swing here against the righty Gallardo as he hits that pitch right in the gap. Good job by Chu to get there. That ball was perfectly placed in the gap, and he got around it and got it in time. Souza's a good runner.
A big spot here now for Giovanni Gallardo to work himself out of. Now he does have the bottom of the order here. Daniel Descalso, the 7th place hitter. Yesterday, the Diamondbacks were 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Pretty good numbers. Ball game the Rangers won anyway. You see Descalso since our nation's birthday. He's been getting on base at a pretty good clip. 1 ball, 1 strike. And they use him all over the ballpark. Very versatile player. And he did not go. 2-1. So Diamondbacks team last year won 93 games. That was a 24 win improvement in Torey Lovello's first season as the manager, and yet they still finished 11 games back of the Dodgers. Dodgers, who went on to the World Series, only to eventually lose to the Houston Astros, but it was a great year for the Diamondbacks. They just powered the baseball last year to the tune of 220 home runs, a franchise record. They had that 13-game winning streak in August, end of August, I guess, and early September last season. This year, they come into play tonight with a 1-game lead. And they're a game ahead of the Dodgers and the Rockies with a 65 and 55 mark.
And take a look at this. StatCast AI is powered by AWS, and Evan did a good job of putting this together for us. And this is kind of what we look for with sacrifice flies and the range. Anything over the green line, you're pretty confident that Souza will score. Red lining in, definitely not. And then there's that zone that's kind of right in between, and you see right there in left field and the way that the Rangers are set up and where Joey Gallo is.
Guzman thought about a play at the plate, instead takes the sure out at first. 2-0 Diamondbacks.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by Methodist Health System. In the outfield is Joey Gallo, Delano DeShields, and Shin-Soo Choo for Jeff Bannister's club tonight. And in the infield, Jurickson Profar, Elvis Andrews, Rougned Odor, Ronald Guzman. You saw him make that play, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa behind the plate.
So the Rangers exchange a run for an out in that spot. Marte now at third base, and that'll bring the infield in. Well, now they're thinking definitely of trying to cut down Marte. Nick Ahmed started and couldn't stop himself. That strike 1. Ahmed, the shortstop, hitting .242, but having a big year in the power department. To ask you about maybe a state of mind for the Rangers, or specifically for Gallardo this inning. And this one popped up back of first. That's a long run for Odor to get out there after being in on the infield grass. Makes a nice play. 2 away.
A really nice play by Rougned Odor. You're absolutely right. We talk about pop-ups all the time and angles and the best ones to take. First of all, take a look at the pitch. Good job elevating here, and ultimately Yeah, meant to pop this thing up to the right side. But watch Ruge here. Watch how quickly he catches and hits his cutoff man. There's an outside chance that you would think about tagging up on that. Now, it wasn't the case for Marte. He was just going to go out there in case Ruge didn't catch the ball. But some more aggressive base runners might think about tagging. He knew that was a possibility, and he made a perfect throw. Nice catch. Good, strong throw to Guzman.
So now to a more conventional or data-driven shift against Alex Avila, the 9th place hitter and catcher. And he takes up and away. So here's my question. You know, Gallardo had 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Now, it's a 2nd inning. It's a 1-0 game. Is there any setting in there where you say, okay, if I can get out of this 1 run given up, I'll consider that a success? Or is the mindset of a pitcher simply figure out a way? No runs ever.
No. So for me, when you have 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, what you don't want to do is turn the inning into a 5-run inning, right, where it gets out of hand. And you literally have to take it batter by batter. It sounds cliche, but that's absolutely the reality of the situation. And the biggest thing in that spot for me, 2nd and 3rd and nobody out, is find a way to get the hitter at the plate out. That's what you want to do. You don't want him on base. You don't want people advancing. And so that's a big part of the mindset. Now, he's not a huge strikeout guy, 5.4 strikeouts per 9. He knows that. And so you don't want to necessarily start thinking, I got to strike everybody out either. I got to strike these next 2 guys out, and then I can get, you know, a batted ball out. The key there is to induce weak contact. And when you've been around for a while, you can start to feel pretty good about how you're going to get that. If you're looking for that weak pop-up, or you know your infield's in and you're trying to get a weak ground ball, there are certain ways that you can do that and have done it over the course of your career. But the big thing is, once you get yourself in that jam, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Do everything you possibly can to make sure this doesn't turn into a huge inning. You're going to have a hard time stopping that runner at 3rd from scoring, even if it's the bottom of the order. You prefer that both don't score, and then, of course, nothing beyond that. And so far, he's put himself in a really good spot where it may just be 1 run.
It's 3-1 to Avila, and this one down the left side foul. Full count. So 1 run is in. Man at 3rd. Diamondbacks lead 2-0. And that was the 20th pitch of the inning for Gallardo. So that's the other part of the collateral damage, right? Is that he has now reached that little threshold for the 2nd. Now, if he can get out of the inning on this pitch, then you're still feeling okay about it. 16 pitches in the 1st for him. Oh, trying to check that swing up, but he went around, and Avila strikes out. First strikeout victim of the night for Gallardo, and the inning is done. Diamondbacks leave a man, but they take a 2-0 lead.
To MLB trends to Fox 8 over 8.
Well, welcome back. 2-0. The Diamondbacks with the early lead, and MLB.TV is now available at a lower price for $49.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Go to MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer. All right, last of the 2nd inning now. Chirinos, Gallo, and Kiner Falefa against Patrick Corbin. And his first pitch right in there for a strike. Chirinos in there tonight as the designated hitter, and there's a big reason why. 16 home runs, including a big 3-run blast last night. And his next home run will tie his career high, which he set last year.
It's been pretty fun to watch Robinson Chirinos and the power that he has added, the opportunity that he's gotten with more plate appearances and at bats as well. But the previous 3 years, you mentioned right now that he's got 33 home runs over the last 2 years. Take a look at the one from last night. Take a look at this absolute bomb that he had off of Zach Greinke off-speed pitch. Probably catches it out front, drills that thing 86 miles an hour on the pitch. But he had 32 home runs the 3 years combined, and he's passed that already now in his last 2 years. And so the power coming pretty late here for Robinson Chirinos.
Almost fed us a foul ball right there. That one just below our booth. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Corbin's 2-2. And this one lifted high in the air. Not gonna do any damage. Ahmed, the shortstop, waiting. One away.
Take a look at the Shiner light blonde pitch arsenal for Patrick Corbin. Lots of sliders, 39% of the time. Then it's the two-seamer, the four-seamer. You'll see the curveball. Every once in a while, you'll see the changeup. But it's all about the slider. And you see that 39%. That is sixth most among major league starters. And also a pitch in which he racks up a lot of strikeouts. That's the pitch that the Rangers are going to have to contend with this evening. They know that from the lefty, who's been pretty good here for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And that guy also is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. It's not a strong free agent market for starters. Off the top of my head, I don't think Clayton Kershaw is necessarily going to opt out. Patrick Corbin's a guy who's probably going to do pretty well for himself this winter.
Gallo check up that swing. And they've waited and waited to ask for an appeal. Oh yeah, fast. Oh, that is the latest appeal strike I have seen in a long time.
This is frustrating for Joey Gallo. Usually you get an answer on this right away, and that's probably a good call. You can see it. Just don't know what took so long with Jerry Davis, and the field is asking right there.
I mean, usually if it's not in a split second, you're just not going to get the call.
Yeah, you're right.
That was unusual. The 0-2. So Corbin, two-time All-Star, including this season. This is 6th year with the Diamondbacks. And he runs it in 2-2. Now he was acquired by the Diamondbacks from the Angels in the Dan Herron trade, but that goes back to July of 2010. Angels originally drafted him in the 2nd round the previous season in 2009. A swing and a miss. He gets Gallo on strikes, his 2nd strikeout of the evening.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Arizona Diamondbacks defense, which is delivered to you by Jack in the Box. It's David Peralta, John Jay, Steven Souza Jr. in that outfield this evening, and in the infield for Torrey Lovullo's club, it's Eduardo Escobar, Nick Ahmed, Ketel Marte, Daniel Descalzo, and Alex Avila behind the plate.
Corbin, after giving up that leadoff single to Chu, has retired 5 straight. And he just misses to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Izzy did not play in yesterday's game, hitless in his last 11 at-bats. Catching tonight. And it's 1-1.
As I mentioned, of course, Patrick Corbin going into free agency. What's been pretty amazing for him this year is he has bumped up his strikeout rate in unbelievable fashion. I mean, this is a guy that you look at over the course of his career. He was in the 7s, in the 8s. That's the strikeouts per 9 innings, which is a nice kind of rate stat to compare other pitchers to each other as opposed to just total strikeouts due to innings. Well, this year, he's over 11 per 9. How you go from 7.5, 8, 8.4 last year was a career high. It's 11.1 this year, nearly 3 strikeouts per 9 on the increase. That's an incredible jump. And it's not like he had a lack of innings. He had 189 innings last year, 155 the year before that.
Kiner-Falefa with a bloop out to right field, and Souza able to close on it in time to end the inning. So we have played 2. Diamondbacks lead it 2-0. And great to have you along with us tonight. We're excited tonight in this behind the lens evening to welcome in the 3rd inning the skipper, Jeff Bannister, joining us from the dugout now. Banning, thank you so much for taking a little time for us.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
So we're trying to get fans a little behind the scenes look on what it's like. So how much different is the job for you in the top half of an inning, let's say, than the bottom half? Right now, you know, you're worried about your defense and Giovanni Gallardo.
Absolutely. No, it's all about pitch count, getting outs, where our defense is playing, the look of Yo on the field right now, the shape of his pitches, ball strike ratio, and the contact ratio.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge, though, right? Sometimes from that angle, especially dissecting pitches is always, I like to see the difference between the slider and the changeup is always a challenge. How much you're relying on, say, Isaiah when he comes back in, or Robbie when he's catching, How much communication is going on with them, maybe, as far as what they're seeing compared to what you think you might be seeing?
No, absolutely. First, does it pass the eye test? What you're seeing, experience-wise, a guy like Yo, a guy that I know very well, what he typically looks like in any given day, and then the communication with either catcher, what they're telling me, and then the reaction to the hitter. The hitter will tell you a lot too. You pay attention to the hitter with the swings. You get some of those funny swings inside the at bat. You know that the stuff is still pretty sharp.
Spoken like a true catcher. Observant, of course, of the hitter. Is this one handled nicely by Guzman and Gallardo? So let me ask you, Banny, because there is a lot of talk about your catcher tonight. And Izzy's done a really nice job in the handful of times that he's had an opportunity to work behind the dish. You get asked a lot about how he's done, learning on the fly this year at the big leagues and all. Just give us a general assessment of what you've seen.
Well, we think he's done very well. Listen, Hector Ortiz has done a great job. Don Wakamatsu, they've done a great job with this young kid. Getting him acclimated to being a major league catcher. Again, it's extremely challenging for a guy to come in who's only had, prior to this year, 70 games caught in the minor leagues. And just as you look at it, does he fit the eye test? Does the stance look proper? Is he handling the baseball? Is his receiving getting better? Is he presenting the ball very well to the umpire? How does he block? And then, again, the preparation. That might be the most challenging part of it for a young guy. Just there's so much information that these guys get on a daily basis, and for a guy like Kiner, being able to absorb that information, putting it into a game plan and sticking to it. The next part of that is that, you talked about the eye test, and what your pitcher's doing is, can he be creative enough to help his pitcher out of a jam, similar to the last inning of, I thought they did a great job only giving up the one run in that situation. I thought they did a great job, starting Ahmed off with a breaking ball, and then, basically getting tight on him and forcing, some funny swings there, and able to get Avila to strike out and only give up the one run.
So I have another kind of dumb question to ask about catching, and it won't be the first. And that is Goldschmidt with a base hit to right field, and Diamondbacks have a base runner. So been a lot of questions about Isaiah and a lot of the stuff you've just discussed there. So we discuss it with pitchers all the time, the workload, what can they handle. To me, catching looks like a really physically challenging position. And so how much assessment is there, as a guy progresses as a catcher, what can he handle physically? Is there, while he has been great, is there concern, or is that the type of thing you keep track of? How does he handle the wear and tear of that position?
Absolutely. Isaiah's he's a very athletic kid, and the thing that we want to make sure that we pay attention to, does he maintain his athleticism? Is his energy level staying high? Can he still move, or is his footwork still quick? All those things go into play, because when those things start to deteriorate a little bit, then you know that the workload is taking its toll on a young guy like this. Because the other part that you have to take into it, we talked about it, about the mental side of it, is that, as he continues to play, possibly get worn down a little bit mentally, the physical side of it will go down a little bit also. So we try to keep him as fresh as we possibly can. You notice that he's going one day on, one day off. Try to recapture some of that the wear and tear, if you will, on a daily basis.
So, Ben, I got a behind-the-scenes question for you. I get this one all the time. People want to know, you have Isaiah with the wristband with his information there, and then the outfielders, that little cheat sheet that they have. Without giving away any secrets, what are they looking at?
Well, the outfielders are, it's about positioning. Tony Beasley puts together a great positioning chart for these guys, and they know on every hitter versus each individual pitcher different situations where we want our initial positioning to be. So they'll reference that card so that you don't see Tony looking like their air traffic controller like you used to in the old days. And for Isaiah, again, it's about the advance report, really what the hitter pitcher matchup is, what these guys do with two strikes, what do they do in certain situations inside the game, to give them a little reference point of where they should go to in any different situation.
Very cool. Banny, thanks so much for a little of the insight here in the third inning, and also thanks so much for letting us use your office to get this thing started today.
Hey, by the way, you guys get out of there.
Perfectly delivered. As always, Jeff Bannister, our guest here in the third. It's still 2-0 Arizona. And so are the Atlanta Braves as we go to the bottom of the third inning here. And Ronald Guzman will lead off for the Rangers. You see Guzman, 4th among American League rookies with those 13 home runs. He's had another real good week.
Let's take you to last night and the home run that he hit, and just locked in right now is Ronald Guzman. Off-speed pitch. Was supposed to be middle in, sat away, and he got those arms extended and pounded this thing over the Ranger bullpen. We needed one of those when Emily was out there.
Yeah, exactly. A little pop-up this time to the left side. And Escobar pedals his way out to make the play. One gone here in the third inning.
So we're having that conversation with Jeff Bannister. He was really nice enough to tape part of our tease, our open that we did today, and accessibility we're talking about with players and how the organization is good with us as far as letting our cameramen be on the field and everything else. We're in a really good spot. We're also in a good spot with our manager. Not all managers are like that, and understandably so, to each their own. Jeff Bannister is accessible as any manager I've ever been around. I've only been doing this for a few years, and a lot of them are really good. But he does such a nice job. He's willing to share information. He's really good with us. The relationship is strong. It's important. I understand that some managers, especially in big markets, they close up. They don't want to share anything. They don't trust the media that much. And at times, and I understand why they wouldn't. But he has been really great to us, which makes the experience for us putting the broadcast together, gathering information, not only having him on camera like that to do an in-game interview, which is amazing, but then also just the conversations that we have, behind the scenes, whether it's in his office, on the plane, whatever it is. It's really insightful, and it really helps us a lot to kind of get our information together and bring the broadcast to the viewers.
Delino takes a strike, 2-1. One of the sort of eye-opening things about it is as much research as we do, and we've already run down the list of all the other folks who are involved in a broadcast each night. There are a lot of people putting their eyes on the numbers, on the trends, using a million different sources. And there are days where you feel like, okay, I think we're pretty prepared. I think we really have it covered. We know what to expect tonight. And in fact, here's what I'm anticipating. And then you go talk to Banny, and you realize that the volume and quality of information that they generate each day, staggering.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And what they have access to and their own proprietary information, the way they gather data and put their reports together. A lot of information flying around the game, and instincts still matter, though. I think that's the other part of it, right? And Jeff Bannister has been around this game a long time. Does a really nice job of combining those two things. The Pirates, for all the years that he was there, one of their things that they were most proud of is how they made data and old baseball instincts work together.
Delino flies out for the second out of the inning. We were pleased today. Elvis Andrus helped get us a little insight into Chu's mindset before the game today.
Mr. Sin Soo Chu, how you doing?
Okay.
How you doing?
Good, very good.
Very good, man.
Yeah.
You gonna hit a homer tonight?
I want to get on base.
Okay. How many times?
At least 2 times.
At least 2 times. You guys heard that? 2 times.
2 times. Oh, we're halfway there. Singled in the first inning. In fact, is the only base runner the Rangers have had so far tonight against Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, interesting, right? That really does give you, even though they're only joking around, some insight to how Chu thinks. You would think, oh yeah, I'm gonna hit a home run, have some fun with it. No, actually, I'm already locked into what I'm trying to do during the game. And what I want to do during this game is get on at least 2 times. And he went on that incredible on-base streak that we saw earlier this season. We've talked a lot about how he's been sharing information and talking to the young guys on this team and his approach, and he continues to get it done. Tony Beasley gave you some insight as to what time Chu gets here. I was a little taken back by that. What do you say, 11:30, 12 o'clock every day?
Well, spring training's even worse. Chu just has that thing. It's like it's almost like an insult. If he shows up and somebody else is there, Banny's talked about this. Banny beat him one day into spring training, and it kind of ruffled Chu's feathers. So the next day he was there then at like 3:30 in the morning. All right, I'll beat you tomorrow.
That's funny.
He will not be beaten to the ballpark.
It's a good game, though, if you're a coach and you got the energy to do that, just to get them worked up. Hey, I was here at 2 a.m. Where were you?
I don't get it. You're not trying? Mailing this one in?
You know we're trying to win here, right? We're really looking for that commitment level out of you.
3-2. And Chu strikes out swinging. Third strikeout of the game for Patrick Corbin. So off to the fourth inning tonight. Diamondbacks with the early 2-0 lead.
To nothing. It is time for our progressive fan of the game here on the top of the fourth, and it is Grace Welch, and she's part of an organization called Gracefully Strong, which teaches young girls to be strong, powerful, to stand up for themselves and to stand up for others, and I think that is just cause for the fan of the game. Grace, who's your favorite Ranger?
Shin-Soo Choo.
Shin-Soo Choo. Well, congratulations on fan of the game and for being a part of Gracefully Strong, girl. Guys.
Wow, maybe fan of the year. That is very cool. Awfully nice to have her with us tonight. I'm tickled to be here with her. All right, fourth inning. And Steven Souza Jr. will lead things off here for Arizona. Ketel Marte and Daniel Descalso. 2-0 Diamondbacks. They've out hit the Rangers 4-1 to this point of the game. Souza had a base hit in that second inning. He led the inning off with a single and eventually scored. Little slow roller down to third. Profar right there on top of it. One away.
A nice strong throw there by Jurickson Profar. And some issues for him a little bit down there, but he did a nice job of gathering himself and firing a strike to Ronald Guzman.
Well, looking at our in-game box score so far tonight. Yeah, Paul Goldschmidt, no surprise, a big part of the offense for Arizona with a home run and a single. Souza, Marte chipping in as well. And this is Ketel Marte, and he'll take strike one. Giovanni Gallardo, I mean, 7 wins since June 23rd. 7 wins, that's most in Major League Baseball. Now, part of that, you referenced this earlier, CJ, that same stretch, he's getting 11.43 runs of support when he's out there. I mean, that is otherworldly. To give you an example, that is easily the most, by more than 2 runs, or right about 2 runs. Carlos Carrasco at 9.8 is
Which
second.
Would be a record, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Sean Estes.
Oh, he was classic for
had
that.
The highest run support average on record for a full season. It was just over 8. You mentioned those numbers now. If Carrasco was able to hold, what did you say he's 9.6?
9.8, yeah.
9.8. I mean, it's absurd. Right man, right spot. There's nothing to it. Sometimes you get the guy that has the bad luck, right? We've had that. Cole Hamels went through some stretches. Andrew Casher went through a stretch last year. He was like 2.5 runs, and nothing you can do about it. It's just kind of the way that it happens. But you love when you're on the other side of that.
2-2 pitch.
It's a starter I played with in Detroit years ago. Would always walk around the dugout. Come on, boys. Never lost with 10. never taken a loss when you've given me 10. I'm like, I've had a couple no decisions in those spots, but never a loss.
Well, the payoff. Ball 4, so Marte works a walk, and that's the second issue tonight by Gallardo. Man on, and Daniel Descalso steps in. 0 for 1.
What is nice about the run support, Jacob deGrom of the New York Mets knows nothing about that. He's having a phenomenal season with a .500 record, despite the fact that he's got a 1.81 ERA. But it's easy to get discouraged because it starts to put a little pressure on a guy. When it goes the other way and you're not getting that run support, sometimes you start to push a little bit. You start to stress out over the idea if you got more than 2 runs, you could be in trouble. You might be facing a loss or at least a no decision. Always have to be careful with that, not to let the things that you can't control affect the way that you pitch.
Well, he's gotten 7 ground ball outs so far tonight, so that's worked well for Gallardo. And one of those was with Descalso up there in the second inning. Now, if he could get him to hit a ground ball here. Might have a chance to roll up 2 outs at once and complete the top of the 4th inning. Outside, it's 2-0. Gallardo, 32 years old now. It's his 10th start of the year. All of them have come with the Rangers. He began the year pitching in relief. Signed with Cincinnati after going to spring training with Milwaukee, pitching in a couple of games with him. Fouled away. It's 2-1. And once he was released, became a free agent. Didn't take the Rangers long to jump on it, sign him again, bring him back to where he was an opening day starter. I mean, he was opening day starter here for the Rangers in 2015 and posted the lowest earned run average of his career that year. Went on to start game 1 of the division series against Toronto. Go over to first, and Marte.
Rangers have done a good job with the veterans that they brought in on short-term deals right when they've been in need of starting pitchers. I mean, this year especially, what they've got out of Bartolo Colon, which wasn't necessarily anticipated. Remember, he was in the bullpen at the very beginning, and how was this going to work out? Or, you know, was he going to be able to make that many starts? He's done a really nice job. Gallardo's done a really nice job. I'll tell you what, that looked really similar to the call that went against Jerks and Profar, and you even saw Jerry Davis flinch. Now it's lefty versus righty, and it usually goes the other way around. If the ball's away and a little bit off the plate, you'll get the call. It's harder to get it in. I'm going to call it one way. Church and Profar is going to ask you to call it the other way as well.
This ball well struck out to right field, carrying well and off the face of the bullpen. Chu will try to hustle it back quickly. Marte around third. Here comes a throw, not in time, and heading to third base to Scalzo. RBI double, advances on the throw, and he gives the Diamondbacks the 3-0 lead.
And that's what's unfortunate about the missed call and the inconsistency of the strike zone. First of all, there's a nice look at the two-seam fastball grip, trying to get that tail away, and it caught a little bit too much of the plate. Look where Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's glove is, and look where that ball ends up. A little more over the heart of the plate. Then Gallardo wanted it, and then the good swing and off the wall. And Chu did a nice job of getting this in. Marte's a good runner. Nothing the Rangers could do in that spot.
So now Nick Ahmed is again, the infield comes in. Remember, it was the same spot for Ahmed in the second inning. He was at the plate with a man at third, 1 out in the inning. Rangers brought the infield up, and he would pop up to short right field where Rougned Odor went out to make the play. So 3 runs across on 5 hits against Gallardo, and the pitch count closing in on 70. Bouncer wide of the bag at third. Stays 0-2.
So the Rangers have the infield in right now. Gallardo's done a nice job of getting ahead in this count 0-2. I mentioned not a huge strikeout pitcher, but there's certainly an opportunity. You take your shot, in my opinion, 0-2, 1-2. Whether that means breaking ball, out of the strike zone, go for the chase. Elevate the fastball, maybe up and in off the plate. See right there, kind of Falefa calling for the changeup.
Whoa, that one gets away. And it allows Descalso to score 4-0 Arizona.
What they were trying to do was go under the hands of Nick Ahmed in that count. They don't want this pitch to be a strike. They want it to start at the bottom of the zone. Watch where Isaiah set up now. It cut back a little bit, and unfortunately he was unable to get down in time. He tried to pick it cleanly. You take that chance. And unfortunately he was unable to come up with it.
A wild pitch, 4-0 to score. And now the 1-2 pitch to Ahmed. It's low. Well, Ahmed having one of those nearly historic seasons, at least in this franchise's history. One of the greatest power seasons among Diamondback shortstops. The best all time with the Diamondbacks. Stephen Drew hit 21 home runs. It was back in 2008. Jay Bell knocked out 18 home runs in 1998. And here is Ahmed with 16 home runs, but still a ways to go. 3-2. He hits this ball well down the left field line and off the fence. Gallo gets it back in quickly, but it's a double for Ahmed.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the pitch here from Giovanni Gallardo. And that ball trying to go in a little bit more. Of course, he wants to be throwing a strike in that spot. Nick Ahmed having that great year locked in. Puts a good swing on this one halfway up the wall. Seen some pretty hard contact here in this inning from the Diamondbacks.
Southwest Airlines bullpen live look. Jeffrey Springs appears that he is as loose as he needs to be out there. Well, he may be coming in here shortly. Avila struck out last time up, and he takes low. Gallardo just fighting it a little bit here tonight. One of those nights. The ball strike ratio not where he wants it. Pitch count climbing rapidly on him. And at the moment, I mean, that's all the bad news, right? At the moment, it's a 4-0 game, and we have seen this Rangers team score a lot of runs. It's still early in the game. But you do get that sense this is just not his night based on what we have seen recently.
Yeah, so he's put himself in that spot, and this happens. We were talking about this the other night where there's those days where you're not really feeling it. You're battling yourself a little bit, and that's certainly the case right now. And then you can get through those outings if you can make that big pitch in that spot, right? You're not, things don't feel right, but you're able to hit a spot, get yourself a double play, which we've seen already one of those tonight. But there's been a couple of times here. The 0-2 count to Nick Ahmed, I think, is a really good example of that, where Gallardo was having a little bit of an issue finding that last spot to finish him off, and he seems like right now having a little bit of a problem on that release point as he issues the 4-pitch walk to the 9-hole hitter.
I think it's Jeff Bannister up out of that dugout, and that stride says I'm bringing somebody else in. It's not signaled yet, and there it is. All right, so that is it. A short night tonight for Giovanni Gallardo, and now the Rangers bullpen going to have some work to do tonight. 4-0 Diamondbacks. Local Buick dealer. Oh, I see there in the background there, that is Joe Cronin, not the Hall of Famer Joe Cronin.
How do you know?
Our Hall of Famer Joe Cronin, the engineer who has made all of this work. Mookie and Yo Mike in the near screen. Mookie with the glasses on, Yo Mike with the long hair there in the middle. And these are the guys who make it all happen. Hey, our Who's In, Who's Out pitching change tonight, sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. The man who's in, Jeffrey Springs. Giovanni Gallardo, the man who is out here in the 4th inning. Two-man aboard, Ahmed at second, Avila at first. So Springs inheriting a bit of a mess here and delivers low with ball 1.
We'll take a look at the numbers for Jeffrey Springs. 5th big league appearance. Things have gone pretty well for him so far in his rookie season through his 4 games, 7 innings. So we've seen some multiple innings, 6 strikeouts and 3 walks. It's a fastball, it's a slider, and a changeup from the Ranger lefty.
1-1 the count on John Jay, who was grounded out a couple of times tonight. A.J. Pollock not in the lineup for the Diamondbacks, and Jay getting the start in center field. That one is Close.
I mean,
hey, you were talking about those sneakers?
I don't think they're sneakers, but yeah, they're pretty awesome. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the teal, but then when you can accessorize like that, I become a little bit more of a fan. Those are sweet. You can play baseball in those. You can walk on the moon if you have the opportunity. You can take the spikes out, wear them to the club. I know you're a big dancer.
Shake the occasional leg. Oop. There you go. Authenticate that.
That's why you wear the helmet.
There you go.
And a nice one, a matted helmet at that.
Yeah. Larry's no fool. I mean, he's been down there before. He knows safety first. Two balls, two strikes on Jay. We're talking about Pollock not being in the lineup today, and Lavello's been kind of been slow to put too much pressure on Pollock, coming back from the broken bone in his hand. So trying to give him a day on, a day off. Today a day off.
Tomorrow they're off too.
And tomorrow's another off day for them as well. So good chance to get a little extra rest. That one to the backstop and back, and kind of Fluffa had a tough time finding that one. Boy, that's just got to be the worst feeling in the world when it's right there.
And it could have been a mix up in the signals, right? Usually if that happens, you know, of course, you can't waste your trips. You got to make them count. And based on this conversation that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is having, watch his glove. Oh yeah, he's surprised that that was a fastball. He was absolutely expecting a slider in that spot. And they'll talk about what they want to do here as well. John Jay has been really tough. He's a good batting average guy, and when he's got two strikes on him, he has been a real challenge. And since the All-Star break, after this, we'll show you a little bit as far as what's happened here with John Jay and how good he has been. He's gracious enough to foul one off to make that happen. There we go. 316 batting average with two strikes since the All-Star break. That's pretty impressive. And batting average is an issue in the game as it is. Guys get down to two strikes. Well, they've been hitting 195 in the big leagues this year. But since the All-Star break, John Jay's hitting 360. Good contact hitter, not a ton of swing and miss in his game. Now, he struggled against lefties, though. 229 batting average this year. That's why Springs is in there. He's been hitting 292 against righties.
3-2 pitch. And there's ball four. The wild pitch had opened up first base. And Springs fills it with that walk. And brings up Paul Goldschmidt. So things don't get a whole lot easier here for Springs. Goldschmidt, a home run and a single. 27 home runs this year for him. 65 RBIs, and that was after a really slow start. Reaches out and lofts this one down the left field line, but that one will reach the stands.
So Paul Goldschmidt is a tough out. We know that. He's a tough out for lefties. He's hitting 294 against them this year. Now, this is overall his hot zone and where he has done his damage. Not surprising down the middle in. He's very quick. Middle down over the plate. He's hitting 408. But how about elevation, too? That's what's tough, is you can't really go in for a strike. Up and away is not such a good idea. So you got to stay down and away, down middle, up and in. Now, if you're going to go to that area where it says 171, small margin for error. You got to get it up and in. He's been so good right around that spot, just not in that spot. By the way, Springs made his debut against the Diamondbacks right when we were there. Yep. Kind of interesting, right? We play them 4 times this year, the Rangers do. This is his 5th big league game, but the 2nd time he's pitched against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
He might have a hard time remembering the first time. Showed up, got to the ballpark around 5:30, 6 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. Had just an incredibly wild travel day to get there. And then when he did get in the game, that first inning, boy, he was working quickly. It was all happening so fast. Such a blur that you wonder how much he does remember. I talked to him a day or two later about it, and he said, no, I still don't really have a recollection of what happened. Second inning, he slowed down a little bit and really looked good, and since then has been great. But he inherits a little bit of a tickler spot here. Ahmed at third, Avila at second, Jay at first. A lot of traffic and having to throw strikes, quality pitches to one of the better hitters in the National League. Goldschmidt, a Texan, grew up in the Woodlands, Texas, south of here, about 2.5 hours or so by car. Fouls that one away. Goldschmidt, he's just talking about the two-strike approach by John Jay. Well, Goldschmidt with 58 hits with 2 strikes this year. That's most in the National League. A couple of guys there at the top of the order who can really put a tough at bat on a guy. The 1-2. Bounce third. Profar has it. Up to second. 1. The relay. 2. What a big double play. 5-4 to 3. And Springs gets out of the jam. Diamondbacks will have to settle for 2. And they lead it 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Normally, this is where we would throw to a commercial break. But today, mixing it up a little bit. It's a little behind the lens, so we'll keep it here. And we'll show you kind of how things go down during a commercial break. So that means we bring in the truck here. Our producer, Mike Leary, our director, Dave Burchett. We'll let them handle it from here.
This is also where you're supposed to get me a sandwich. It's usually how it goes down. But a lot of times what we talk about is what we're going to do next. So what do we got coming back from break?
So why don't we do this? While we're here, we've got the time. Let's show everybody the double play first.
Okay.
Let's do that. So here come replays.
Where do we go
Stand
first?
by the pitch on A.
Ready to effect A.
And
Replay,
go A.
effect A, and
go ahead,
what's
CJ.
next?
All right, so you want to go ahead and do this when we come back, you're saying?
No, yeah, we're going to do it right now. So
Okay.
here's your pitch, and here's Silver's
Roll Silver's
defense.
off Silver.
All right.
You can just talk through this.
All right, yep. So you want to show this coming back from break?
No, we're showing it right
Oh,
now.
we're showing it
for
now.
the fans that are
Gotcha.
watching right
All
now.
right. Gotcha, yeah.
Incidentally, this is exactly how it goes
Stand
down.
by B track.
Ready, B.
Another look, B track.
Track B.
How about Y, Mookie? Stand by the track Y.
Yeah, tremendous play here.
And
Go Y.
roll Y is on Y.
This will be the last look.
All right, stand by out to double box.
Oh, we've got some Rugi reacts on red.
Ready,
So
One
we're
more
gonna
look at Rugi
and
here.
roll
Red.
red's off red. Ready, double
All right,
box.
stand by to come out the double box. And come on out.
Come out to double box.
All right.
I really love the way you handled that.
Thanks. So, I mean, are we doing this when we get back? Oh, I see. We wanted to break it down while we're actually in the break.
Yeah, I figured we might
That's
as well.
not what we usually do during the break.
A little curveball.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a curveball. I thought we talked about progressive. We talked about we're going to do our picture of the game. And then Mike
Yes.
Leary, who was an excellent producer,
Thank you.
just completely changed things up. All right, what do we got? So
All
what
right,
are
so
we
here's the
doing when we get
deal.
back from break?
Coming back from break,
Yep.
let's do Southwest Player Breakdown Package Corbin.
right.
So when I do this, let me show it to you. I'll put it in your ISO.
All right.
CJ, you can look at it. Here
Yep.
it is. Roll red. So generally, everybody at this point, while he's watching it, I'll go ahead and
How about
give
we put red in the,
Dave, our
big box here,
director, an
put red
idea
in the
of what
big
we're going
box?
to do coming back. So if you could, it'll be wide shot score.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll go to a package
Ready
on
back
red.
to talent.
Dave, you're going
Back
to
to
hook us
talent.
up at some point here with a tee up for our Southwest
All right.
Player Breakdown
What
for
card?
For CJ.
Ready to
okay?
dissolve
So
4.
Let's get a pitch in
No
first
bug here,
now that
Leo.
we've
Ready to
taken some
dissolve
extra
4.
time. So hold on, everybody.
All right,
Stand by to cut
dissolve
our
4.
mics. And cut our mics.
All right, so that's it. That's the confusion that happens between innings. And I say that
as silk.
I mean, legitimately, right? There's
Yeah.
a conversation, and sometimes, you know, there does ensue some confusion. Now, we said after a pitch, I would set you up with our Southwest Airlines player breakdown.
I
today.
think you took a little bit too long to make
Well.
that happen.
So, and given that, I wouldn't do it.
So here's the best way you can set me up. Don't talk starting.
That ball stroked to center and hit very well, and up over the head of Jay and against the fence. Odor just missed getting that out. Second hit of the night, though, for the Rangers, and a ringing double by Odor.
Well, let's go ahead and get to our Southwest Airlines player breakdown and get to some of the work that we have seen from Patrick Corbin so far this evening. He's been locked in. We've talked about the slider. It's a good one. He has used it to generate swings and misses all year long, and he is doing it so far here against the Texas Rangers. Chu, a guy who doesn't go out of the zone very often, chases that one, but a good way to start off fifth inning here as this ball is lined to dead center field. And Ruben Odor has been locked in over the course of this season. It's a great approach. You love seeing him go right back up the middle in those spots, especially against a lefty, right? That's been one of the things that we've talked about with Ruben Odor. much improved against left-handed hitters so far this season. Came into tonight hitting .269 against lefties.
Andrus will take a little bit low for a ball. So second time through the order here against Corbin. And Odor, that's a good sign. See if Andrus can follow suit. He struck out on the first. Rangers were 2 for 6 last night with runners in scoring position. This is their first opportunity here tonight. At the end of the bat toward first. And Descalso takes care of Andrus, but he does move Odor to third base. One away.
Did I say fifth? I said fifth. It's only the fourth inning.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
You're fine. It was fun. I get a kick out of, you know, some of the chaos sometimes between innings. A lot of times I'll just take off my headset.
I would say that's one of the more chaotic half innings we've had all year.
That's probably top of the list.
Yeah. Well, you know, I got out of my comfort zone. I'm not going to lie. Breaking down something during a commercial break, it didn't feel right. That's what happens for me in this. Is you start to get kind of tendencies. You do this long enough, and there's little feelings that drive. And then whenever I slide over when you're gone, those handful of games that I do play-by-play, I have to forget about those things. One of the things that triggers my brain is that as soon as I see a replay and I see the slow motion and I hear the little sound wipe or whatever we call it, I instantly think I have to start talking about the replay. When I'm sitting in your chair, that's a no-no. That's Tom's job. Right. And there have been times, and it usually takes me a game or two, I see the replay, my brain goes off, whatever that little tell is, and then boom, I'm breaking down a replay and I'm not supposed to be.
High fly ball center field. Jay will handle it, but Odor able to tag at third and score. So a sac fly for Jurickson Profar. The Rangers are on the board. It's a 4-1 game. Good productive at bat. In fact, 2 important productive at bats there to create the run. And here comes Chirinos. Robbie popped out to short in the second inning. 0 for 1. Final game, only a 2-game series. Rangers won the opener last night. They split the 2 games played in Arizona at the end of July. And then this will be it. That's all they will see of the Diamondbacks this year. Taking a look at our in-game box score. Chu and Odor with the hits up top, and that's it. I mean, just the 2 hits tonight against Patrick Corbin. The lefty's been very good. But it is early. 1-2 the count on Chirinos. Well, they play Chirinos to pull. Really quite the shift against the right-handed hitter. Fouls that one straight back. We usually address it when we see it, and because we don't see it that often, it is that much more notable to see 3 infielders on the left side against a right-handed hitter. Against a left-handed hitter, it's such commonplace strategic defense that you sometimes even forget to mention it. Swing and a miss, and Chirinos strikes out. That's a 4th strikeout so far for Corbin. He's had 1 in every inning. The Rangers get on the board. We go to the 5th inning. It's 4-1. This night here at Globe Life Park, we're going to take you now into press row, where the working media watch the game, file their reports for the different media outlets for which they work. Roughly 150 to 200 total credentials are issued each game day. Now, there can be anywhere from 20 to 50 or so sitting in press row on any given night. Rangers generate about as much international media as any team in Major League Baseball. At least they have over the years. With Chu's presence, of course, with Darvish prior to that as well. And a lot of influence from Venezuela, the Dominican Republic.
Jeff Wilson, he single-handedly keeps Titleist hats in business.
He does. He does. And
that hawk right there from the AP.
Yep. Steven. And a lot of what we do during the course of the day is we chat with them, they with us. We hang out down in the clubhouse and talk with Danny.
Yeah.
And that's another really fun part of the job, is just chatting with all the other folks who are on the beat, same beat as us.
So I generally try to avoid those guys as much as possible. No, it's a good group of guys. No Evan Grant today. Safe to say he's our favorite personality of the group.
Well,
come on, you know it. It's all right to admit it.
We love all of them. CJ, I can't do that. It's like asking me which of my own children I like best.
Yeah. Which
I like everybody best.
Which is a total lie. None of us as parents will admit which child we like the most, but we all have a favorite.
That is not true.
It doesn't mean that you dislike the other one. It just means that you like one a little bit more than others. That's all. And Evan
Sullivan out there, and
Evan sits at the top.
TR's been covering this team for like ever. It's a swing and a miss, and Peralta strikes out to start the 5th inning. Hey, Springs has come in and done a nice job. He walked Jay to cleverly set up the double play to end last inning.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea. Walk to lefty, go after the perennial MVP candidate.
Yes.
In that spot.
Textbook.
With the bases loaded. And really show Jeff Bannister and the coaching staff what you can do. Now, it worked out great. Not intentional, but it certainly worked out really well.
Now Eduardo Escobar, who has twice hit a ground ball to second base. You ready, Rugi? Uh-oh. Lifted high in the air out to left, but not going to carry. Gallo. Plenty of time, and there are 2 gone. How about our Kubota power stats tonight? And take a look at the season totals from concessions here at Globe Life Park. Now look at these numbers. You have like 175,000 gallons of beer. That's enough to fill almost 9 swimming pools. 116, almost 117,000 gallons of soda. That's better than 1.2 million cans. Hot dogs. That's enough hot dogs for over 67 miles of wieners. How about that?
That's all interesting. That's the spot right there.
Popcorn.
No, Cheetos popcorn, which you were supposed to get me last commercial break.
You see that brisket there? That's about the weight of 18 cars. And the nacho
18
cheese.
cars full of brisket?
Well, the nacho cheese number there, almost 23,000 gallons of nacho cheese. Could fill more than 38 average size truck beds.
I thought we were going to use kind of the pool comparison, and like swimming in nacho cheese, because that sounds fun. Or would you rather swim in a pool full of nacho cheese or drive in a car full of brisket?
I'll take the brisket car.
It would smell better. By the way, that beer, by my estimation, the equivalent of 11,290 kegs. You were a big keg stand guy at Stanford, right?
So there's a walk to Steven Souza. Go ahead. You have more on the kegs?
I was just asking, was that not? Is that what you guys did?
No,
keg
I was
stands?
not a big keg stand guy. No. You?
No, I was more of a funnel guy. My youth.
Oh boy. It's only the 5th inning, folks. Here is Ketel Marte. Well, I'll remind you, slow and steady wins the race.
That's right. You're absolutely right about that.
Good day for the Diamondbacks second baseman. A double and a walk. He has scored a run. It's a 4-1 game. Runner goes. The throw down to second. Not in time. And Souza with his 4th stolen base of the year. His 2nd in this series. Stole one last night.
Pretty impressive that the Rangers even made this close. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa picks this ball cleanly. Not easy to do. And then the release time, how quickly he got rid of that ball. It was one hop to Rugen Odor, who made a nice pick on the other side, just not in time. I mentioned earlier, Sousa's a pretty good runner, but that was close considering you got a breaking ball that was thrown in the dirt. Short hop on the throw. The fact that the Rangers were able to make that a possibility is pretty impressive.
Take it back on Sousa. He didn't steal a base yesterday. Goldschmidt did.
Right?
I was thinking of Sousa back in the second inning tonight when he was at first base and a double was hit. He made it to third, but did not attempt to score. Anyway, 2-1 now. They count on Ketel Marte, and that foul ball put an end to a streak of 6 consecutive misses for Springs.
Interesting to see Marte go out of the zone and chase that in that spot, as you mentioned, with 2 outs. Just a little bit of an issue here for Jeffrey trying to find that strike zone. But at the same time, hitters will tell you if they see something they like, and it was an off-speed pitch. It was a changeup. It was away. It was a borderline pitch. But with runner in scoring position, if they see the ball really good out of the pitcher's hand, they're not afraid to go after something, even though it's been 6 balls in a row, or at least was at that point.
Two-one. Fly ball. Short center field. Shields stopped momentarily, but then raced in and made the play. Inning over. Diamondbacks leave a man. We're halfway to the house tonight. Rangers down by 3. Local GMC dealer today. There's Diz doing some work in there. 4-1 here, bottom of the 5th inning. Hey, country music artist Casey Donahue perform a post-game concert this Saturday, presented by Budweiser. Watch the Angels take on the Rangers, 7:05 game, then enjoy the concert afterward. Go to TexasRangers.com/concerts for game tickets and information on how you can see Casey Donahue from the field. All right, so this should be fun. Here as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Joey Gallo will lead things off, and we welcome in the great Chuck Morgan.
Hey guys, great to be here.
Second best seat in the house. Emily had a pretty awesome one when she got to sit in the bullpen, but you definitely have one of the best seats in the house, and you got a better microphone than we have, that's for sure.
Bullpen is not bad, but I'll take this one.
So what's going on there? You playing Tetris? What's all those boxes and stuff you got to the right on your screen?
Over there to my right, that's the I may get a home run right here. Let's see.
You may indeed. Gallo lifts this one to deep left center. 1 away. So anyway,
the catcher, Isaiah Kiner Falefa. Hey. CJ, that is I call it my dad Inco machine, and it stores all the music, and that's the player music. That's Kiner Falefa's music playing right now, flashing. And I just told somebody earlier, it's a lot easier now. It's like taking money out of the bank. When I first started, you had to play records, which was pretty tough.
And that's changed, right? I mean, as far as players wanting their own walk-up music, you were the perfect guy to ask about maybe the history of that, how it came about. I felt like when I broke in around 95-ish that you had to kind of be a pretty good player to make that happen. If you wouldn't mind, maybe take us a little bit through the history of having your own walk-up music.
Well, I guess probably started back in the days long before I started, but when a guy would come up to bat in a ballpark and an organist would play something that had something to do with their name or where they were from. And I think technology has made it evolve where now, you know, it's by the time they get into the major leagues, you've got guys that want 4 or 5 or particular different situations in the game and things like that. But you're about right. About 95, I think the players started picking it. Before that, we would pick it. And like for Rusty Greer, we play Sweet Home Alabama because that's where he's from. For Pudge, we played Magnificent Seven, things like that. But by the time they get to the major leagues now, with technology, it gets a little more sophisticated.
Chuck, can you clear up something from last year? The rooster that you played, the crowing rooster. You remember that for, I think it was Carlos Gomez.
There's a base hit right there.
Darn tootin'. Kiner Falefa's on. Isaiah's first hit of the game.
First baseman, Ronald Guzman.
I mean, I'm getting a total kick out of this. That first of all, Chuck's not even missing a beat. Like he's in the middle of having a conversation, and then it's just stop and announce the next hitter and hit his music. That's incredible.
You know, on the rooster thing, I was told by the clubhouse guys that Gomez wanted a rooster crowing as he came up to bat. So I got the rooster ready to go, and then he had a good game, and I was told that
2 away. I'm sorry, Chuck. Go ahead.
The center fielder, Delino DeShields.
We're in the bottom of the 5th, runner on second. No, I was told that he wanted the rooster crowing. You know, the umpires don't like it when you keep the music going when the guy gets onto the dirt. So, but anyway, but I was told that Gomez didn't request that. So, but it worked out. He got a couple of hits, had a good game, and the rooster stayed for a while.
How do you do when a guy picks a song that maybe you don't like, or do you have to worry about what's appropriate for a stadium? Have you had to have those conversations with any of the guys?
Well, it's not my decision on what I mean, if it was up to me, it'd be a lot more Motown and things like that. But you know, it's whatever they want to make them feel like they're at home. The other thing is I get all the clean versions, and our guys are pretty good about picking stuff that is family friendly and works in our ballpark.
All right, Chuck, a Hall of Fame voice of the Texas Rangers, been doing this now almost 2,900 consecutive games. And Chuck, in the stadium today is the skipper for the Diamondbacks, Torey Lovullo. His dad was a friend of yours, right? Sam Lovullo, going back to your days at a previous job you had.
Yeah, I used to work at WSM in Nashville, Tennessee. I did the all-night trucking show, and the great thing about being in Nashville and working on that particular radio station is we left the door open, and we'd have a big crowd in the studio every night, and we had a lot of guests, and Hee Haw would tape twice a year in June and October. You want to continue that?
Yeah. All right.
Okay, that
do
sounds
this,
good.
Chuck. You have stuff to do. We have stuff to do. We're coming back to get the rest of that story. All right. More with Chuck Morgan, the Hall of Famer, when we go to the 6th inning, 4-1.
If you're part of a group attending tonight's game, watch for your group's name on the Coca-Cola message.
All right, thanks, Dana. Meanwhile, here, 6th inning. On the bottom of the order coming up for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Jeffrey Springs pitched an inning and 2/3 scoreless so far in relief. Dumps one right in there for a strike to discuss. So Chuck Morgan was just regaling us with stories last half inning. There's a Hall of Famer. So Chuck, picking up again, Torey Lovullo's dad, Sam, you two kind of met each other, what, back in the 70s?
Back in the late 70s, he was the producer for Hee Haw, and as I mentioned earlier, Hee Haw would tape twice a year in Nashville in June and October, and we'd always have Sam come over, and he would bring some guest stars from Hee Haw, and we would talk about the upcoming season and who the guests were going to be and things like that. And then one night Sam says, you know what we need to do? We need to get you over into the cornfield. So the next day I went over to the taping. They gave me some Hee Haw overalls, which I still have. Gave me my own Hee Haw dressing room, and I was in the cornfield with Roy Clark and Goober and Buck Owens and the crew, and guest starred with Sammy Davis Jr. and Paul Williams. And you know, if you watch RFD TV late at night, you might catch me on the old Hee Haw television show standing in the cornfield.
That is absolutely amazing. What year was that episode with Sammy Davis?
That was around 1982.
All right, do your thing.
Shortstop Nick Ahmed.
Now, do you like it better when the opposing team is batting because you don't have to worry about music and all that?
I'd rather the Rangers be up to bat. Plus, you know, I don't know about you guys, but these uniforms are tough to see. I really need binoculars on these uniform numbers.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. What about this, Chuck? What about the rest? You know, we're talking to you about announcing the names and the walk-up music and whatnot, but there's a lot more. I mean, you're orchestrating all of the in-park entertainment. It's a year-round job. You do, you know, all of our promotional giveaways, all that stuff. There's a lot more to what you do. But if you could maybe just give us a sense too, the size of your staff, some of the people involved in the whole entertainment of the night.
Well, next to me in the press box, I've got a control room that's got about 14 people inside the control room. They do a great job over there. We're always one of the top game presentations in baseball, and got some great editors over there to do some great videos and things like that.
Two away. Sorry.
Catcher Alex Avila. And we've got 4 of our own cameramen out in the seats, and we do a lot of great things with dance cams and kiss cams and things of that nature. But yeah, it's a real year-round job, and the most fun I have is the sausage making of the promotion schedule. It takes us about 3 months, and that's a lot of fun to put together that stuff.
How about the new ballpark and maybe the capabilities that you're going to have? We're not that far away. 2020 is our anticipated opening of Globe Life Field. Is there going to be, I mean, I assume the screens will be better, all that kind of stuff, but what from your angle is most exciting maybe about the new ballpark?
Well, I'm going to tell you what's the most exciting, CJ. It's going to be the location of the PA booth. It's going to be on the main concourse, and it's going to be like in a Pope-mobile. I'm going to be in a bubble where people can come by and watch, and we're going to have some benches in there. We'll even invite people in for a visit. And so I'm going to be on the main concourse and visible to everybody. But you're right, the scoreboards, and by the time we get to 2020, it'll be state-of-the-art, great technology. And I can let folks in on a little bulletin. As of right now, the screen that we will have in right field is going to be 58 tall, which is going to be about 20 feet taller than the one in right field now, and then the one on top of our home run porch here is going to be the size of the one in left field.
My goodness. Avila with a home run to straightaway center field, and that makes it 5-1 Arizona.
Well, number 6 on the season for Avila. There's a good look. That's what our RF camera does right there as he crosses home plate. Let's take a look at the replay, though. First, the pitch from Springs. Left on left, fastball right down the middle. You see it there. It's a 4-seam grip, and that one split the plate. Jeffrey trying to get away on Avila. He missed the spot a little bit, and this is a good approach. We talked about the at-bat that Ruben Odor had. Drove the ball to the middle of the field for his double. Avila the same thing with the left on left approach.
Well, with 2 out here in the 6th inning, just about running out of time with Chuck Morgan. But Chuck, one final thing as we wrap things up and look forward to moving into the new ballpark. And of course, we're counting down how many games left here, down to 99 remaining in this ballpark before we head into the new park. We should be counting down, getting you to 3,000 consecutive games as well. But I was just wondering, one memory stand out to you, one moment in all the years, all the games, crazy things that you've seen, called, whatever. Anything stand out for you?
Well, you know, having invested a lot of heart and passion, emotion into this franchise, the greatest moment for me was when a rookie struck out Alex Rodriguez for Rangers to win their first ever pennant. And confetti is going everywhere, fans are going crazy, and it's just something you wait for your entire life, and finally to be a part of that. I can only think of one other moment for me that would be bigger than that. Designated hitter Paul Goldschmidt, and that would be for the Rangers, for me to announce the Rangers have won the World Series, and but that strikeout of Alex Rodriguez by Neftali Feliz to me is the biggest moment in Ranger history.
Yeah, and now represented forever in that great statue out at Texas Live. That was awesome. Chuck, thanks so much, man, for spending a few minutes with us.
Thank you, guys. We can do this every night if you like.
Absolutely.
I think we're going to get a few tweets about that. There's no doubt about it. I think the fans would absolutely love that. That was fantastic, man. Thank you for giving us some time.
Thank you, guys.
Boy, he is
Chuck
the best.
Morgan.
He has been so kind to me since the first day I got here last year. I mean, you know, the way that you treat people is really what people remember most, and what sticks out the most. And Chuck has just been incredibly kind to me. He's made me feel very comfortable. He's just a genuinely really good man, and we're fortunate to have him there. And to watch him pull that trick, tell a story, don't miss a beat, announce Paul Goldschmidt, right back to the story. That's amazing. That's a talent that I don't think you or I have.
Well, I can assure you that neither of us do. People saw that 5th inning.
I mean, I'm sitting here going, huh, what? And we're not even, we're technically a commercial break. He's got to, I mean, you got to nail it, right? I mean, there's everybody in the stadium that's counting on him.
Well, and he was spinning around, picking out the right music for each guy too, which was, you hardly even noticed that he was doing it.
Yeah, I think the people around this organization, their ability to multitask really puts us to shame. You think about Bandy member in spring training, we're talking to him mid-inning and he's giving signs to the catcher at the same time. How is that possible?
I saw you chew gum and act recently.
Yeah, nailed it.
It's impressive. You're not without your own talent, CJ. Neither is this guy, Paul Goldschmidt. He's had another good night. 2 for 3 tonight with a home run. Diamondbacks with a 4-run lead. High fly ball, short right field. Again, Odor making his way out there, and he'll take care of it. The inning is done. Diamondbacks pick up another run of the homer by Alex Avila. Oh, in the cornfield, there he is, Chuck Morgan.
Wow, that's a beauty.
It's a trail by 4. Chu, Odor, and Elvis Andrus. Well, it's been fun tonight, getting a look at some of the various portions of the ballpark and different parts of the operation that go into making a show every night. Not just our broadcast, but Chuck Morgan last half inning, learning about the concessions, etc. Emily in the bullpen. But I do think it's sort of time to score some runs.
It is time. But that is really cool. First of all, for longtime Ranger fans to be able to listen to Chuck and you hear his voice, and it's one of those things as a visiting player. You come through and you spend enough time in the league and you start to recognize certain voices and you can time to ballparks.
Base hit by Chu to start the 6th inning. Good way to get it started. Anyway, you're hearing voices.
I'm not hearing voices. I recognize voices.
Okay.
There's the guy from Minnesota, and so Chuck was always one of those guys, right? I mean, it's just recognizable voice. And then you get a chance to compare. Of course, you hear him every day. But then also, because wasn't he in a video game? I feel like there's a video game I played that his voice was in all the time. I didn't have a chance to ask him about it. There was one baseball game, and before I knew him and knew who he was, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the guy from the Rangers. Like, you just recognize voices, which is so cool, and you have attachments to them. And when you have a guy that goes on a real good run and becomes part of the organization, becomes part of your memories. When you attach yourself and you're thinking about the ballpark, depending on where you grew up. For me, that was Bob Shepard.
Oh, this ball hammered down the right field line, but foul.
And this is the honest-to-God truth. So for me, and I believe a lot of Ranger fans probably feel the same exact way about Chuck Morgan. When I went to college, Bob Shepard was teaching public speaking at St. John's. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool if the Yankee announcer teaches public speaking here at my college. I didn't have his class, but then when I got to meet him, I actually had him sign a baseball for me. And it was I still have that baseball. It was a big moment for me to have Bob Shepard, a guy who I listened to as a kid every time I went to a major league game in New York. And for Ranger fans, I believe that they absolutely have that same experience with Chuck Morgan. And it's so cool. I mean, it's got a huge booming voice, right? And it just connects you to your memories. It was really cool to sit there and talk with him and watch how things work. And because I think you make the assumption, oh, that guy just shows up and says stuff. He just reads what's in front of him, announces players, and checks out and see you later. No, it is much more intricate than that. I didn't even realize that till I got here, quite honestly.
No, I didn't either, especially in Chuck's case, because it is not true of every PA announcer to be as involved as Chuck is. Chuck is a very integral part of the Rangers' entire entertainment presentation every night. I mean, it's enormous, his impact here. It has been for a long, long time. And he is one of those guys, too. We call him the Hall of Famer, as Rugi strikes out one away here in the 6th inning. He was inducted into the IDEA Hall of Fame last year. And I think he's recognized among his peers as a guy who does a whole lot more than simply show up and say names. And that is the case in some other towns where guys really do just lend their voice.
Well, they have multiple jobs, right? Some of the guys that are PA announcers do other things. as well.
Take nothing away from any of them. It's just that Chuck's role here is so much bigger. And the relationships he's had with some of the players over the years, like Nolan Ryan, and very close with Nolan. Big part of this franchise's history. And as you point out, one of the all-time just kind, gentlemanly guys you run across in this business. All right. Now Elvis, who is 0 for 2. He struck out in the first inning. He grounded out in the fourth. 2, by the way, with a single this inning. As he promised Elvis earlier tonight, he wanted to get on base twice. He's on base twice now. And he doesn't care that it's 2 hits. He just wanted to get on base twice.
Any way you can. That has been Chu's game. It's what he's done over the course of his career. It's what he's done extremely well this season. And he's preached it to the rest of this roster, which has, you know, been a little bit of an issue. There's swing and miss here in that Ranger lineup. There has been. He does a nice job of balancing the lineup out, as does Elvis, as does Adrian Beltre, but then also paying it forward and trying to get the most out of his teammates.
Two-strike pitch, and it's in the dirt. Well, Elvis has been on a nice run here at home, 23 consecutive. The longest hit streak in this ballpark's history, or going back, at least it's the longest since 2010, when Josh Hamilton hit in 29 straight here at home. Puts this ball sharply into right field, base hit, so it's 24 in a row. 2 men on now, and Elvis, it wasn't just the conversation with Chu. Elvis regaled us with some of his other talents today during batting practice.
Jump around. Jump around. Hey. Yeah. Hey. Relax your mind. And we can ride a boogie. Girl, when you dance, come on, baby. Baby. Hey, what do you think? Better dancer or singer? Dancer? Only in the shower.
Well, this ball hit well out to right field and over the head of Souza. 2 in to score. Into third base is Andrews. Profar with a ringing double. Makes it a 5-2 ball game.
Well, safe to say Jurickson Profar did not enjoy listening to Elvis Andrews sing and wanted to get him off the screen as quickly as possible, and he does that by lining this ball to right field and coming up with a big hit. You mentioned that it's time for runs, and the Ranger bats are waking up here in the 6th inning. Watch this pitch out, a bad one. Came back over the plate a little bit, but still down and away. Look at that leg kick from Jurickson Profar, and his success against left-handed pitching continues. This ball was stung to right field. Souza just misses it out of his reach. Nice base running here by the Rangers as well. You see Elvis there. Had to be a little bit careful once that ball was down. You're going to see Tony Beasley wave in Chu, but hold up Elvis Andrews. There have been some very comfortable swings here for the Rangers in the 6th against Patrick Corbin.
Well, that double also ensures that the potential tying run gets to the plate. And that big smile by Profar. You can tell Marte having a little fun out there in the middle of the diamond. So Chirinos 0 for 2, a pop up and a strikeout. Time called. This is the 3rd time through the order. The Rangers are 3 for 4 against Corbin in this turn through.
So I want you guys to check this out a little bit. This was interesting, and this was a tough spot to be. Watch Chu slowing down, some good footwork of his own, showing off those dancing moves, but what that really was that ball was almost caught by Steven Souza Jr. And so Chu thought it might have been down, but Tony Beasley had to give him that kind of pause on like, heads up, you may have to bust it back to second base. And then once he saw it down, he was able to wave him in. That is not an easy call for a third base coach at all, because there almost was a great play made by Steven Souza, which could have turned into a double play.
Really glad that you're paying close attention to that too,
Yeah.
in as much as that may well be your next job.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Tony wasn't kidding around. He did a great job walking us through the clubhouse and narrating everything, and then said to me, CJ, you better learn how to coach third, buddy. I might be coming upstairs and taking your seat. You want to see some guys get thrown out of home plate. Throw me down there.
You be the perpetual green light.
I mean,
just keep going.
That job is much more difficult than you could ever imagine.
All right, the 1-1. Ground ball slowly hits shortstop. Picked up by Ahmed. And they get Chirinos, but he'll pick up an RBI. And suddenly it's a 2-run game. So Chirinos with the RBI ground out. 5-3.
It's a good job by Robinson Chirinos. You love the idea of being able to cash in both of them, but you want to make sure you get at least one across the board. It's a pretty good pitch up and in, and he got jammed. But with the infield back, he knew that he could afford to hit that ground ball. He'll take it. I mean, certainly he would love to have had a base hit there, but that's a productive out, something we have seen a lot of from the Texas Rangers this year. We saw the sacrifice earlier, making it happen. That's the value of putting the ball in play. We talk about swings and misses and how much that's happening in the game right now. But putting the ball in play and having some kind of productive out has value. And the Rangers leading the American League in that category with 177 of those this season.
That was coming into play today. They've done a good job of making use of outs once again. And here's Joey Gallo as the tying run in the 6th inning. 2 runs already across. It's a 5-3 ball game. And Joey, with one of those patented swings directing the ball to right field, could tie this game in a hurry. That man just 90 feet away. Profar down at third. One. One thing about Gallo, he hits home runs, a lot of them, 31 this year. But how about this? 20 of them at home. Only J.D. Martinez of the Boston Red Sox has hit more home runs in his home ballpark than Joey. Now that said, Corbin hasn't given up a home run in 9 consecutive starts.
Maybe a good time to go ahead and break that streak.
2-2.
Good job by Joey to lay off that slider. I mentioned that is the pitch for Patrick Corbin. It's a good one. Just to kind of show you how good it is. It's not even close. Strikeouts via the slider this season. Chris Sale's got a nasty one, but Patrick Corbin 40 more strikeouts on his slider than Chris Sale has this year.
It's 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So he does get Gallo, and the inning is done. The Rangers don't pick up a couple. Suddenly it's a 2-run game. Profar double last inning.
Here comes the interstitial.
Buddy,
Here comes the interstitial. 2. 2. And it's done.
Ready 5.
Take 5. Let me get through these replays.
Take 2. Ready 5. Take 5. Ready 2. Take 2. Ready 1. Take 1. Ready fought in. Ready 8.
All right, here we go.
Take 8.
Last pitch A, last pitch blue.
Ready 5.
Stand by B track.
Ready 1.
Stand by possibly
Take
X
1.
track. Ready A.
Ready to effect
replay.
A.
A.
Effect A.
Stand by blue.
Ready blue.
And go blue. Stand by B track.
Ready B track. And
And go B track.
track B.
If there's time, stand by X track. We got
You
the
got
time
manager,
here.
yeah, or pitcher coach.
Ready X track
Ready
and
X
go
track.
X track.
Roll
One more.
X, dissolve X, track X.
Stand by out.
Did you see Chu running? He almost, he really held up, and it was kind of weird.
And
Ready out to 1. And
come on
set
out.
to 1.
Let me see.
That never fails to mesmerize.
Same. I mean, if you're sitting at home and you're watching that and you're saying, wow, just so you know, so and Dave are doing that exact same thing right now, because I guess I'm never going to give those guys crap for not listening to me. They're kind of busy down there. I mean, it's really amazing. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why. Now it's all coming together, because one of the things that we have here in the booth, we have this box that, first of all, there's a cough button, and you push it if you have to cough or whatever the reason. And then there's another button called the talkback button, which is this one right here. I can even lift this up and show you. You got your cough button right here. It even says cough on it. That's me. I'm CJ. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to talk right now. So you can get actually all of me right here. Right. So if I could say something like, did you guys know that you can't hear me say that because I'm pushing the cough button at that point, or the talkback button. When I push the talkback button, that actually talks down into the booth, and I'll say things like, hey, but you can't hear me. It doesn't go over air. And so you push the talkback button, you may want to see a replay. You may say, hey, did you see this, or whatever it may be, something that you only want the truck to hear, part of the production. And those times that I get ignored, now I get it.
Well, the flaw in that setup, and it is a very elegant setup, but the flaw in that setup is that I can't push your cough button.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And do they have cough buttons down there?
I don't know.
I mean, this would be a good time to beat up on Mike Dressman, our other producer, who's not here tonight. Who, he doesn't mind talking. He'll come in, hey, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, whatever it is. The producers are in our ear. I don't say constantly, because they know they got to give us our space to be able to think and talk, but they'll get in and give us direction. And Mike likes to have a snack around that. It seems like the 6th inning.
Yep.
And it feels like we're also having a snack with him sometimes.
Usually involves lettuce.
Yeah, it sounds like it at least.
Ground ball left side and profile right there, 2 away.
All right, so a little bit more as far as what goes on here in the booth. And, I have a lot of screens, a couple of iPads, and something that first Aaron Goldsmith with the Seattle Mariners turned me on to, then Dave started doing this, and now I am in on iPad scoring. So I actually, what happened there? Was that a 6-3? I missed it.
That was a 6-3.
All right. So
actually, it's a 5-3.
It was a 5-3. Thank you. At least one of us is paying attention. So this is really fun. Actually, if you're really interested in how this works, I have something on my website, cjbaseball.com, that kind of walks you through all of this. But scoring with the iPad is super fun. So I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write that one. Make sure it's in blue. I'm kind of particular about my colors. I'm going to go ahead and write my 5-3 in right there. I'm going to zoom back out. That was Peralta, right? Escobar's
No,
up.
Peralta struck out, and then
he did.
Yeah.
See, we're doing so much talking here. I'm not even paying attention. But here's what's so beautiful about the iPad: you get your little eraser, boom, off you go. I like to have my strikeouts in red. Dave's super boring. You say swinging or looking?
No,
swinging.
It was a 5-3 put out.
Wait, what? Are you messing with me?
Escobar's up now.
Why are you messing with me, dude?
Sorry.
We don't got time for this.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, now I can show you what happens when you make a mistake.
All this will be available at CJ Baseball.
Yeah, there you go. In case you want to learn how to score. I got a lot of people that are, hey, how do you do that? It saves me a lot of time from explaining it. But anyway, one of the cool things, I love doing this. I think it's really cool. Dave got me hooked. Dave's is super boring because it's all black and white. This thing offers you so many different colors, you got to use them.
Mine's not black and white. I don't put all the pictures on yours.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
and I will say,
my
nobody
header
does it like you. I mean,
my header is, I'm very proud of my header. We got Big Sexy, of course, in there, Joey Gallo. Now look at that. I mean, listen, and that's fun too. Scoring a game, however you do it, you should do it. Teach your children how to do it. I absolutely love when I see people scoring the game at the ballpark. It's just fun to do. It could be conversational. Teach your children. My little guy loves doing it at home. He never quite makes it all the way through. He gets super excited. Dad, get me a scorecard. Print me one up or whatever it may be. He usually runs out of gas around the 5th inning. But the idea that he just gets so locked in to doing it. It's a fun thing that you can share with your children. You watch baseball together, teach them how to score. Everyone's got their own little different things that they do, right? The way that you put your outs, where you just kind of put the slash in the corner, your base hits, where I kind of write the whole thing, whatever it may be. But it is, it's fun, man. And I love this iPad scoring. I never thought I could do it, and I absolutely love it.
Little blue, back of third, and handled in foul ground, 2 away. Chris Martin on here for Jeffrey Springs, his 33rd appearance of the year.
See that arsenal down there. Fastball, cutter, slider split for Chris Martin, the right-hander. Some time this year, a couple of DL stints for him. Those splits, 281 against lefties, 293 against righties so far this year. He's been more of a fly ball pitcher, 39% ground ball rate. That's about 5% below league average. And not surprising with the high fastball that he likes to use up in the zone. He's going to get more fly balls than he will ground balls. I totally thought that there was a strikeout in there. Nice job.
Well,
you convinced me.
The reason I wanted to do that for you is so that you could then show people how easy it is to just simply erase it, put in the new one. It's not like, even I've scored by pencil forever. Everybody went to the pens, the multi-coloring system, and all that stuff. But I still scored by pencil. And even then, erasing and changing stuff, it'd make it a little messy.
Yeah.
This system with the iPad is so cool because it just disappears and you put the right thing back in there.
I do fear, so I only have one iPen. You only have one iPen too, right?
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to reach in my bag one day and it's not going to be there. And then I'm going to be a mess. I do have the backup scorecard that I used to use, but I would be upset if I was to lose my iPen. And it's not even expensive. Like I bought the cheapest, newer version, but it wasn't that, pretty cheap version of the iPad. You don't need anything really expensive as long as it's one of the newer touchscreen ones.
But I mean, you will admit, the key is that whatever version you get, that it supports.
Yeah, it has to be a touch version. It has to be a touchscreen one where it could support the pen. I guess they're all touchscreens, but yeah, one that supports the pen. So I have the other iPad here, and I've had this one for probably about 5 years, where I always have the MLB at bat app up, and I can see different things that I want to look for during the game. And that is an older one that will not take the iPen. Yeah, it's all the iPads all the time here. And of course, just all the access of things that we have inside edge that we use their real-time rep. And that's the other thing. We say some things over the course of the game, right? You and I grew up watching sports, and you're always like, wow, these guys know a lot. Nah, not really. People are handing you cards and telling you information. There's other places to get it. Now, you may say, like, how's so-and-so throwing? What's his strike percentage right now? A couple of clicks, and there I am. And I can compare it to a season average very quickly. Right? Patrick Corbin's at 68% strike so far. Tonight is been at 64% this year. Like, I don't know that stuff off the top of my head. I don't have that written down anywhere. That's the great work from people like Inside Edge that we have access to.
And you are very digital. You're very good at wheeling around on those things quickly during the course of the game. Better, certainly, than I am. As this one popped up, foul ground. And taken care of by Guzman. Inning is done. All right, 7th inning stretch. Rangers have closed in. It's a 5-3 game. (5-3). So we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Bottom third of the order coming for the Rangers. Kiner Falefa, Guzman, and DeShields. Patrick Corbin puts that one on the outside corner for a strike. Corbin working now in the 7th inning, still short of 90 pitches tonight. Rangers, though, seem to have made some inroads this third time through the order, and a bouncer to shortstop. Ahmed, good strong arm, and he gets it there in time. One away. We haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to learn about Emily Jones' situation and her crazy little bunker. We had her record a little bit to show us how things go down in her end of the world before the game.
I do have a place to escape. I just walk down those stairs, come down in here into the bunker suite. This is where the owners hang out when things get a little toasty. I could grab myself a snack, use the ladies' room. It's a nice place to cool off, get my bearings about me before I head back out into the scorching Texas summer heat. So now you know where I go to escape every once in a while during the game, guys.
Can I just say that I have never seen that place?
So I have been, like, my eyes have been open to some things that we've had an opportunity. Like, oh, that's cool. I'll be honest, I'm a little angry right now. Yeah, there's a part of me that's like, wait, what?
No, there's a little rage right now working its way up in me. Emily, I had no idea you had those kind of comforts
in the world.
You always make it like it's so hard down there.
As you guys are sitting in the air-conditioned
That's
booth,
false.
that I want to hear it.
Open air booth.
Open air. I have two fans on me trying to dry the sweat. But yeah, go ahead.
So great story. I don't even know if we have time for it. So when I was pregnant with my first child, I used to lower myself into this camera well. There was not these stairs right here with this gate that would lead into the owner's suite. So when I was pregnant with Henry 7 years ago, Nolan Ryan would see me as he was sitting in the owner's seats, lower myself down into the well, and he's like, this is not going to work. So the Rangers went on the road, that first road trip. I came back second homestand. This gate was built, and there was an L screen right here protecting me from any foul balls. And so Nolan had them make this gate and put the L screen up to protect me when I was pregnant. Now, as soon as I gave birth to Henry, the L screen was gone and they couldn't care less. No, just kidding. But it was a really cool gesture, and the owners are so gracious to allow me down in the bunker suite to freshen up, get a snack. You know, they really are so kind to me.
Friends in high places must be nice.
That really is cool.
Yeah. I want to go there right now for a little while. What are you doing next inning? You got this? Looks like it looks cool. It looks like nice and cold in there.
Yeah.
There's probably some drinks to be had.
Well, Emily, I'm excited for you, and we now.
And
know
also, I probably shouldn't share this just to rub it in,
boy.
but they also let me eat the food.
Oh, my.
And when the former president George W. Bush comes, the spread is.
Oh, really?
Very nice.
Oh, that's nice. Any cold brew
you know
down there?
who's going to be here based on the food that they bring out right before the game.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea that thing was there. And I love the fact now that, for me, that will forever be known as the Henry Gate.
That's right.
And that is his gate. Bouncer, third base. And Escobar takes care of DeShields. That's a quick 1-2-3 in the 7th. Off to the 8th we go in a 2-run game. Yeah, pretty good.
Does Dana have a bunker too?
No, Dana's got like an entire set over there. Beautiful little area.
I feel like everybody has stuff that's better than us. That's kind of what I've taken away from tonight.
That's your takeaway, of course. Alex Claudio coming on here in the 8th inning.
Game number 49 for the left-hander, and 49 2/3 innings for him. 28 strikeouts to those 8 walks. A great ratio for Alex Claudio, and what he does so well and has done so well over the course of his career, keeping the ball on the ground. He's a contact pitcher. That good two-seam fastball. It's something that Alex has used, which has garnered him a 62% ground ball rate this year. Absolutely unbelievable.
Well, he gets Ketel Marte here in the 8th inning. And really meaningful half inning right here. Try and keep this a 2-run game. Hard ground ball. Wow, that was blistered right past Elvis and out into center field. Marte smoked that thing.
Yeah, this ball was hit hard, and this doesn't happen too often where you see an infielder redirect a ball and it still continues to go as far as it did. Now this one stayed up for Alex Claudio. Pretty good swing here from Marte. But watch this. You don't see that too often where an infielder slows it down and then it completely changes direction. That ball was smoked.
115 miles per hour. And it goes after an error.
Wow.
Ooh.
I think even Elvis reacted to that call a little bit.
Scalzo, that one turned foul.
Oh, nice net. Nice job, buddy. He said, "What, they gave me an error on that?" I like this. You know what he's thinking right now? I'd like to see the official scorer come down here and try to field that ball. I wonder if we could use StatCast as a way. So, okay, listen, at this exit velocity, under no circumstances can this be an error, even if it's right at a guy.
That's interesting. I mean, I would certainly, as a scorer, I would probably be one to maybe use it a little bit and lean
You
on
hit
it.
a routine ground ball, 115 miles an hour, right at a guy. Not him catching it, or not high.
Well, the problem is that's not routine at that point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole argument. It's no longer routine at 115 miles per hour. I don't care who you are and what position you're playing. That's a rocket. Now, this ball's hit well too, down the right field line. Foul.
So the proof is in the pudding. Dave does not make stuff up. At least not on our broadcast. Check this out right here. That's a one-hopper, 115.1 miles per hour. I mean, I was like, come on, man. He's talking about the Flight of the ball, absolutely. When you sting a ball that hard, it's not going to be straight. It's going to take on some funky spin, or sometimes lack of spin, right? They come out like knuckleballs every once in a while with some strange movement on them. So I get to be noted for Elvis that we're working our hardest to get that changed.
Descalso bites that one off.
So what do you think? Emily's getting a manicure in there right now?
I mean, you taking a nap? I mean, what do you?
Hairstylist down there to give her the fresh kind of
the masseuse just left.
My goodness.
Now that position is a little less glamorous right there. Is that a padded folding chair though? Okay, well that's nice. Oh, swing and a miss, and Descalso strikes out, one away. Now, our TXU Energy power players to watch. Again, a little change up for you today. We take a look at the breakdown of crew members on our shows here on Fox Sports Southwest. We have 3 audio techs, 12 camera operators, 4 replay operators, 4 graphics people, or 5 rather, 2 video operators. Let's see, you got a technical director, stage manager, our director and producer, and 2 people on the engineering staff. And they could arm wrestle over who puts in the most work and who's the hardest working of that crew. But, you know, occasionally we try to make this point. And I don't know that we could ever fully give people an idea.
Yeah.
But like this broadcast, this is a blast. This is really fun, a creative way to look at the game and show people a little bit about what happens. And we've gotten a lot of feedback tonight. I think a lot of folks enjoying it.
Yeah.
Well, they should know Mike Leary, our producer, it's his brainchild. He came up with a concept, and he's worked through an extraordinary amount of logistics conceptually to come up with this and make it work. But everybody else that we've been talking about, they've had to pull off their end of the bargain as well. It's just such a massive effort each night to put all this together, and it takes the help of all those people. I mean, these are the guys running the robos.
I thought they built robots in there.
No.
Oh.
Actual humans run the robots. Crazy as that is. There they are. Hello.
Seems like to me a pretty good gig. It's air conditioned because it's very cold in the truck. That's the other thing.
It is.
It is always freezing. Yes, that is correct. This is much better than standing outside on a Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock day game in late July here in Arlington.
Robo, are these harder broadcasts than usual tonight or easier? Oh,
that didn't take long.
It's a harder broadcast. Do you get paid extra tonight, Robo? Oh, I'm sorry. 1-2. Anyway, it's just remarkable, and it's fun every night. You know, every night we complete a broadcast, we pack up our little bags, we go home.
Yep.
And so do about 40 other people who worked on the broadcast that night, and it's so critical that every single one pull their weight for fans to, you know, get the game each night. And it's so much fun just to be a part of a team all tugging in the same direction like that every night.
Absolutely. And the other part of that, now it's not exactly like this, but remember, Fox Sports Arizona is running this game for the Diamondbacks, so times it by 2. Almost, not exactly by 2, right? We have probably a few extra people on the home show compared to the road show, but they're doing the same thing. Jody Jackson, the sideline reporter for the Diamondbacks, is sitting on the exact opposite side of where Emily is now in that other well, and they have everything else that's going on. And since we're both in the Fox family, we share a little bit. We call it a dual feed, so there's some opportunities to share a little bit more. When you think about, we play the Seattle Mariners, right? They're on a completely different network. And then there's times where you get what's called a side-by-side, which is, let's just say it's the Mariners. They're running their networks. They're not Root Sports anymore. They're AT&T, whatever they are, right? So they're not Fox. So you have the Mariners broadcast, then you have the Fox Sports Southwest broadcast, and then you may have ESPN. Now, Sunday Night Baseball is exclusive, but there will be times where there's, hey, Greg, there may be 3 production teams going on at the same time. It happens, and of course the playoffs, postseason gets out of control with international and everything else. So what you're seeing sometimes will happen 3 times.
Yeah.
Than what we're showing.
Alex Avila now with a couple men on, 1 out. Claudio working his way through this 8th inning. Very good at getting those ground balls in the double plays. We've talked about that a lot this year. Could really use one here. Gets a strike, going 2. All right, what do you got, Emily? Oh, I'm sorry, didn't.
I just got done with some shrimp cocktail, cookie, little sugar cookie too.
Nice.
You know.
Didn't want to interrupt you or anything. Sorry. I mean, you got to get ready for the post game and all.
For sure. I'll head inside and freshen my makeup in a minute.
Do you have your job title on the back of your chair the way that our authenticator does right there?
No, I do
I mean,
not.
don't dare sit in his seat.
Definitely.
It's obviously
won't happen.
his. That's amazing, actually. Something I did not know.
Yeah, that's
Whose seat
timing.
is that?
The
It's
authenticator.
The authenticator's seat.
Sorry,
He's
whose
not
seat
allowed
is that?
to talk or smile.
Which is also new to the game. Pretty interesting, right? Authenticate anything, any ball that comes in that you want to make sure it is actually that baseball, which is kind of nice for the guys, right? First hit in the big leagues. Of course, all the history with Adrian Beltre and Bartolo Colon.
Yeah, and there's a rotation of these guys. They're all Arlington PD, and they have to basically see the chain of command for anything that they authenticate. And everything they authenticate coming from the games goes directly to the club, and then they disperse it accordingly. If it's a big milestone or something, you know, Adrian Beltre's 3,000th hit, they got that, you know, authenticated that. But anything that leaves their site, they can't authenticate because they can't verify the chain of command.
That's interesting. Strike 3 called on Avila. Second strikeout of the inning. All right, as we head to the top of the order, let's take a moment now for a word from our friends at Kia.
When you're America's best value, you don't need some over-the-top celebration.
You know, as you go along, right, you always have kind of ideas like, oh, hey, this has been working out. It's been a great broadcast. But I was thinking, just for fun, if we ever do this again, I would love to see when Emily's down in the bottom of the 1st inning in the bullpen, that Banny would do the fake phone call and get Emily up. Right? Call down there, phone rings, guys panic a little bit, get Jones going. That would be great.
Ground ball, and that one is through to left field, and that is a big base hit for John Jay. Gets a run home, makes it a 6-3 game, and a big insurance run for the Diamondbacks.
Well, we mentioned Alex Claudio is so good at getting these ground balls. There's a really good look at the fastball from the side there, the movement that he gets on that pitch, and pretty well located. Looked like he might have cut on him a little bit. But he gets the ground ball, and you got to really give a lot of credit to Jay right here because he stays on this pitch and he hits his ground ball just in a spot where nobody's home. Elvis Andrus was shaded up the middle, and understandably so. You got a left-handed hitter against a left-handed pitcher. And unfortunately, he just hit it where the Rangers weren't.
Roquel out there for a brief visit. And that's a tough break for Claudio, a 2-out run. Makes it a 3-run game. And so the Rangers going to have their work cut out for them in the final 2 at bats. We will have the top of the order coming in the bottom of the 8th inning. But Claudio still needs to get one more out and now deals with a very dangerous hitter.
So this is where I kind of get torn a little bit. We talked about picking your favorites earlier, right? You were mentioning you couldn't do that. Well, it was pretty unfair. I think we both agree the error that was called against Elvis Andrus on that ball that was smoked. But for what it's worth, and it's all about wins, that's an unearned run because he reached on an error, which for Alex, left-handed relievers, it's kind of an exclusive club. It's not as exclusive as sitting down in the owner's suite underneath, but it is an exclusive group nonetheless. And active or non-active, you pull for each other. So the idea of that run going unearned, I might not be making my case to have that hit overturned.
Strike now to Goldschmidt. It's 1-1. See, Goldschmidt's had another real good night, and he has a lot of those. The best all-round players in the National League, and he shanks this one foul. 1-2.
He got off to a really slow start this season. He was hitting 191 on April 13th. and got it going for a little while, but then he struggled. Then he was down to 198 on May 22nd, was Paul Goldschmidt. And there were a lot of concerns about how his season was going, a lot of questions. He'd been so consistent over the course of his career. Well, since then, he's hitting .337 and slugging .641. Slugging .641 since the middle of May. It's been incredible to see him get this season turned around the way that he has. And good players are hard to keep down, and ones that put up numbers year in and year out. You think, oh, is it going to be an off year for Paul Goldschmidt now? About 6 weeks. That's all it was.
2-2 pitch, and that one back up the middle. Diving stop Odor. The second, and they get the force out, and the inning is done. And it's another sparkler from Rougned Odor.
A fascinating play here by Rugi as he goes to his right. This ball was hard off the bat of Paul Goldschmidt. Looked like a base hit through the legs of Alex Claudio. Watch the extension here. Tremendous concentration. Great play. Great throw by Rougned Odor.
Our energy shots. Get back to 100%. A little look at the weight room. Bring you back. 6-3 the score. Nice play by Odor there to end the inning.
I want you guys to see this. You talk about trying to focus and concentrate on a ground ball. First of all, the ball almost hits Alex Claudio, goes through his legs. Then it almost hits the umpire, goes through his legs, and Rugi is still able to track that ball, dive, catch it cleanly, make the exchange, make the throw. It's one thing to try to make that play as if, I don't know, you're pitching, one of your coaches hits you a fungo. It would have been a tough play by itself, but live in a game, through your pitcher's legs, through the umpire's legs. It was like croquet, right? You're playing where you have to hit it through
yeah.
Except at like 105 miles an hour. 101 actually was the exit velocity.
Well, quite a play to end it. And now, the other thing it does, it keeps it a 3-run game. Gives the Rangers a shot. Top of the order, Shin-Soo Choo here in the 8th inning. And the Rangers are finally into that Diamondbacks bullpen. Andrew Chafin, the new pitcher.
Yeah, so we saw Andrew Chafin last night, so this will be game number 58. He's having a great year. Not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed it's not Jake Diekman here. We saw him get up last night with Chafin throwing, but he didn't get in the game. So with Chafin throwing in last night's game, I thought maybe in a lefty spot we'd get to see former Ranger Jake Diekman, but not the case. Chafin in there for the 3rd time in 4 games.
Jumps ahead of Choo, 1-2. There's Diekman.
Brad Ziegler, so a couple of new pieces there. He's on your right without the hat. A couple of new pieces in that Arizona Diamondbacks bullpen as they get poised to make their run.
Choo bounces one slowly left side. Escobar's going to have to hustle it. Not in time. Choo just beats it out. And the lead man on here in the 8th.
Nice job by Choo. Great hustle. And he chops this ball to the left side. And once it took this last bounce, you knew he was going to have a good chance to beat it out. Watch it right here. And he was not able to get it. Escobar wasn't before that bounce. So that gave Choo a little bit more time to get there. And he does beat this out pretty easily. That's why you bust. It might feel like a ground ball, but you realize there's a chance. Really not a
Excellent start to this 8th inning. Odor doubled earlier, 1 for 3. And he hits this ball high in the air, foul over to the left side. Rugi was adjusting his neck, shoulders, quite a bit there after making that play at second base, and watching him in the on-deck circle, trying to get loose or something.
He's definitely one of those guys that you have to kind of protect from himself a little bit. He'll play through just about anything, and so whenever you see him wince or make a move, the training staff and coaching staff will step in and check in on him. And the Rangers have a lot of that here, and it's nice to see because I do think we've seen a little bit of change in that direction, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, you got to take care of yourself, and if you have an injury, you're better off not playing in a game. But there's a lot of guys on this team. I'd put Rougned Odor in that category where they're throwbacks to some degree, where they're going to play a little bit more hurt than your average big leaguer.
Tried to stop himself there. Falls behind 0-2.
That guy certainly will. Robinson, Chirinos, and he's talked a lot about kind of what comes with the territory when you're a catcher. A lot of foul tips. Always kind of an issue with him, of course, the concussion issues that he's had over the years. Those guys are a different breed.
Chu with a small lead at first. The 0-2 from Chafin. And this one out to center field. Hanging up for Jay. 1 out. All right, time now to check in with our friends from Southwest Kia.
Purchase a brand new Kia Sorento for less than $20,000. Monthly payments $250 a month. Find your Kia Sorento at Southwest Kia.
It's like Chafin has done his job. Give up the single to Chu. And then retired Odor. And Torey Lovello has come out. So he'll get a new pitcher here with the 8th inning at a 2-run game. Bottom of the 8th inning. Man on for the Rangers. Hey, taking a look ahead. Tomorrow, by the way, no game. Rangers have the day off. And then Thursday, Angels in town for the first of a 4-game series. Ariel Jurado for probables. Got the ball for the Rangers. Last 3 starts, he has been pretty good. 2-1 record. ERA a little over 5, but a youngster, not yet 23 years old.
It's a good look to the future with Jurado. You know, I've talked about him a lot. I really like him. There's a lot of upside, a couple little tweaks to make as he gets this first go-around experience at the big league level, but I think there's a lot of upside. I think you're looking at a starter that could stick in the big leagues for a while. Really good sinker. Bartolo light a little bit right now. Bartolito.
Yoshihisa Hirano, the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks, gets first one in there for a strike.
Take a look at the numbers for Hirano this season. He's been very good. 55 games, 2.12 ERA. Good strikeout to walk ratio, and it's a simple 2-pitch mix. It's a fastball. It does not throw particularly hard. It averages 91 miles an hour, but he's got excellent command. And it's that split finger that sits around 83 miles an hour. And Hirano's a guy, not surprising because of the good split finger fastball. Has done well against lefties, 194 batting average against, and just 198 against righties. And he's been very good. He inherits a runner here at first base. And he's inherited 22 runners this season. Only 3 of them have scored.
Balls, 2 strikes on Andrews. Elvis had the base hit in the 6th inning, part of that 2-run rally. Rangers today saw Patrick Corbin for 7 innings. They scored 3 runs on 6 hits against Corbin. Chafin got an out this inning, and now Hirano. Rangers won the opener yesterday 5-3, trail 6-3 here tonight.
There's that split finger, 84 miles an hour. Really good depth to it. It's a really good strikeout pitch, and it's a tough one to lay off of. That's a nice job by Elvis. Look how long this thing is a strike. I mean, that starts out probably belt high for Elvis. He sees it as a strike out of Hirano's hand. It finishes below the zone in the dirt. Really good job laying off that pitch.
Very small lead for 2. The 2-2 pitch. Ooh, that one just foul.
Check this out with Elvis Andrews against fastballs this year, where he has been his best. Middle and some pretty gaudy numbers there down the middle. So you see down and away has been a little bit of an issue for him. You know, even, listen, middle away at 273 is still respectable. But down and away is the spot that opposing pitchers will try to go. He's been so good in pretty much every other location.
7th pitch of the at-bat, rolls it back up the middle. Arano grabs it, goes to second for one in the relay in time for the double play. So nothing doing to the 8th for the Rangers. 9th inning coming. Rangers down by 3.
Oh, nice. Mr. Sing Su Chu. Hey, what do you think? Better dancer or singer? Ooh, baby. Ah. How do you feel being the most good-looking man in Korea? GQ magazine, your own TV show. Oh, you want me to hit you? Oh, okay. What up? I can say that word. Oh, pay attention! What shoot? Wow.
How does he have enough energy to play?
It's amazing. One of these guys, Elvis, is that has as much fun as anybody playing baseball. And in a season like this that the Rangers are having, not exactly the way they expected it to go this year, it's really important to have these kind of guys, really good players, leaders on the team, but also know how to keep it light, know how to have fun. They know when it's time to be serious and when to be accountable as well. But you love guys like that. You love teammates like that, especially here in August, getting late, all that kind of stuff. It's really important for your sanity as a baseball player that you have good teammates that know how to keep it loose, especially guys you respect like Elvis Andrus. That was really cool of him to wear that mic today. Yeah. Extremely appreciative of that.
Two-strike pitch from Claudio, a little bit in. Elvis, among other duties, I think he feels responsible for. He is the keeper of the music, both in the clubhouse, on the plane. There's music being played. It's being played from his boombox. He's the DJ. Ground ball, second base. Odor has time and throws out Peralta.
It's time now for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. And you know who's Built for Baseball? The Southwest crew is Built for Baseball. We showed you a lot of what happens behind the scenes, and we got a group that has been there and done that. Really, think about it. These guys have seen more baseball probably than you and I have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy to think. And they know the game. They know how to cover the game. We appreciate all the great work that these guys do day in and day out. That nice, cool truck. Cold. It's not cool. It's cold. There's times where I'm definitely jealous. Like, we're up here. I know Emily acted like we're sitting in air conditioning. We're not. It's warm here in the booth.
I don't know,
like,
man.
Guys complain. Oh, it's so cold in there. I say I like cold.
Really, it's a little too cold for me.
I don't mind
when
being
I see
freezing.
them putting on their jackets and whatnot to go to work in the truck. Woo.
I'm okay with it. But they are built for baseball. That's the other thing I love, because I'm so fascinated.
There you go. There you go. Man, I mean, what would Bartolo be doing in there?
Oh my gosh! Well, he already is double sweatshirt to start it off, right? Or at least the one with the long sleeves underneath.
Whoa! How about those hops, Alex Claudio? Nicely done. 2 away.
Yeah, Alex has always been very good at fielding his position. Our Cape guys get this queued up, get that replay ready for you, and there it is. Oh, a little stare down from Alex. I love it. It's a nice play. When you're hit, the kind of pitcher that he is, a lot of sinkers, a lot of ground balls, that are going to be back up the middle. You got to be a pretty good fielder of your position, because you're going to see a lot of action. We talk about that all the time with Bartolo Colon. A lot of two-seam fastballs, ground balls right back at you, and he fields his position well.
So 2 gone now. And Souza takes one just a bit in.
So the other part of this too, I think, for people that are interested in working in the industry, right? If you're in college or not even in college yet, and you feel like this is always something you want to do, you get a really good look as far as, what happens all the way around. Do I have a bug on me right now?
Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
Cricket. Ground ball, third base. Go far. Throws out Souza to end an 8-pitch inning. He all right? That was pretty nasty.
That felt big.
All right, bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Rangers, down by 3. Rangers have to get something going here in the 9th inning. And we're looking ahead to All You Can Eat Fridays, August 17th. Coming up, that'll be our next one, coming up later this week. Angels in town, that'll be game 2 of this 4-game series with the division rivals. You can get your tickets in the All You Can Eat seats this Friday night. Use the coupon code T-Mobile at TexasRangers.com/specials. Thank T-Mobile for their help in helping fans get a 20% discount on Fridays in those All You Can Eat seats in the home run porch. Be a fun night.
So, you know, something that you didn't realize. So it's called the jib camera. Very cool. You see those in studio a lot, but also here at the ballpark. And then, you know, the 45s give you an opportunity to deadlift or bench press. You know, when you commercial breaks, you want to get a little bit of a workout in. Those 45-pound weights that are on there.
It's like an opportunity for a little seesaw.
Yeah.
If you wanted to maybe do that.
If you want to be the ultimate dad, recording your kids' soccer games, get you one of those.
Do the trick.
Yeah. If you want to blow all those other parents away that are trying to take shots with their iPhone that don't come out that great, find somebody that has a jib, preferably on a track, so you can go all the way along the entire field.
Definitely distinguish yourself. Brad Boxberger in here in the 9th inning, and a strike to Profar makes the count 1-1.
Well, numbers for Boxberger, number 45 for him. 26 saves. You see it right there. That is 3rd in the American League. Very good opponent's batting average against. So just 195 for the right-hander this season. Lefties have actually been a little bit better. It's still 220, but compared to the 178 batting average that right-handers have posted against Boxberger this season. Pretty incredible strikeout rate, 12.4 per 9. However, the walk rate is very high, 4.6 walks per 9. League average is usually just over, a little bit over 3, 3.2, 3.3.
Just foul. Stays 1-2.
The bug is gone, but you know, like, I feel like you can still feel it.
Yes.
Like I feel like it's still on the side of my face, around my neck.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching you. I didn't know what you were doing over there, and then you said, "Is there a bug on me?" And sure enough, it's like a big grasshopper or cricket or something.
But you don't have those in the owner's suite.
Probably not. 2-2 now to Profar. I don't think Emily's ever had to deal with that. Yeah, look, that's it. There he is.
I got your brother, dude. He didn't make it. If you're looking for him, you're not going to find him.
Bouncer first base side. That's a fair ball. It heads down into the corner. Profar will have a shot for 3 here. He's turning it on, and he'll be in there before a throw. 6th triple of the year for Profar, and a great start to the 9th inning.
Talked a lot about Profar this season and the slugging that he has done. He gets an opportunity here, an off-speed pitch that comes back over the plate, hits it right down the line, just barely fair. And with the good speed that he has, turns this into a pretty easy triple. Watch Profar out of the box. Head down the entire way. That's a great job. You go hard the entire way, get the second, pick up your third base coach. He'll give you an idea. And then once Tony Beasley kind of indicated that he would have it pretty easily, then he looked over his shoulder. You don't look over your shoulder until you know you have third base.
Chirinos 0 for 3, RBI ground out in the 6th inning. Get the crowd into it. 19,353 paid tonight, plus a couple of crickets.
Rally caps.
Two and one. Yep, all sorts of ways to do it. You go the shark style, right, sideways, or you could. I'm not. How would you describe that?
I've never seen the front shark fin.
I kind of like that though. Fly ball, short right, Souza charging in, and what a catch. Profar tags. He'll head to the plate. He scores. A sac fly by Chirinos. And it's a 2-run game. What a play by Souza.
Yeah, really nice play by Steven Souza Jr. and in a big spot. A lot of times you got to make a decision on whether or not you want to go for it. Is it the right time to be aggressive? And he had a good beat on it, made a really nice play. Hopped right up and made a strong throw. It's good read by Jurickson Profar. He knew he could take that chance at tagging up. If the ball got down, he was going to score easily anyway. So go ahead and make sure that you tag. And he does. Well, that's a great play.
Now they appeal. Profar under the notion that he left a little early. He did not. So Gallo. Right now Rangers need a base runner every bit as much as they need a home run from Joey. Joey 0 for 3 tonight. Looking for his first hit in this series. He was 0 for 3 yesterday with a walk. But it's been a great month. Gallo came in hitting .326 in August. In fact, since the All-Star break, he has been one of the more productive hitters in baseball. 9 home runs, 20 RBIs. And worth noting, the 15 walks since the All-Star break against 28 strikeouts. That's a ratio that you could get very used to in the case of Joey Gallo. Oh boy, a strike garnered that time by Avila, and that punches out Gallo 2 away. Rangers baseball brought to you tonight by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. Now Kiner Falefa now. 1 for 3 tonight. Last chance for the Rangers. Down by 2. Rangers with a run in the 4th, 2 in the 6th, and a run here in the 9th inning. 4 runs on 8 hits, while the Diamondbacks have scored 6 runs on 9 hits tonight. We mentioned earlier the Diamondbacks came in with a 1-game lead in the National League West Division. And they're just trying to stay 1 step ahead of the Rockies and Dodgers, the teams closest to them in the standings. Rockies right now with a lead in Houston. That game in the 9th inning, and it's 4-1. Just turned 5-1. Colorado. Dodgers trailing at home to the Giants 1-0 very early in that ball game. You know, the other story though that we haven't touched on tonight is the continuing battle for 2nd and 3rd place in our division in the American League West. Oakland and Seattle in the middle of a big series. Oakland won last night. They're leading again tonight. And the A's came into play just 2 back of Houston in the division. With Houston losing, Oakland right now leading the Mariners 3-1 in the 4th inning. It could be a 1-game lead in the division.
Yeah, did that go final yet, the Astro game? They're down 5-1 in the 9th. I think that.
Yeah, it's 5-1 9th last I've checked.
Wow. Can you imagine that? I keep telling people, no, you know, the Astros are still good enough to win the division, I think, but now you're starting to go, well, you know.
Yeah, and for the A's, I mean, it's not so much about catching the Yankees for the top wild card spot. They're much better off aiming for the division for any number of reasons.
An Astros Yankees wild card, could you imagine?
That'd be outstanding. 3-2. All right, Kiner Falefa draws the walk, and so the tying run gets to the plate here in the 9th inning. All right, the Condor, big Ronald Guzman. A left-handed slugger against the hard-throwing righty. Fouled away.
So this was a save situation, is a save situation for Brad Boxberger, and he's got 5 blown saves this year. That is the 3rd most in the National League, and we certainly would love to go ahead and make number 6 happen this evening. Ronald Guzman representing the tying run.
They've had a little trouble with their bullpen lately. A little bit in, 1-1. Overall numbers for Torey Lovello's pitching staff have been quite good since the All-Star break, but a couple of hiccups here and there with that bullpen. Archie Bradley, the guy who really has wobbled a lot lately, and there's a swing and a miss. It's 1-2.
And you can see why Brad Boxberger's got some pretty good numbers against lefties. I mentioned it, just a 173 batting average against, and that changeup right there has got some pretty good depth and fade away from the left-handed hitters.
This will be his 25th pitch of the inning, and Guzman chases, but he does get a piece of it to stay alive.
It's back-to-back change-ups. You're going to see another one right here. Look at that late movement. And Guzzi just barely gets a piece of it. Let's watch this foul tip. Good slow-mo look. One. Inner thigh for Alex Avila.
Tyner Falefa off first, nobody holding him. And there he goes. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Guzman strikes out, and that ends it. So the Rangers kind of closed in there in the 9th inning, but couldn't quite get it done. 6-4, our final score. We'll be back to wrap it up in just a moment.